Department is committed to transforming our rural communities into thriving hubs of development. We believe that every community deserves access to absolute peace and quality standard of living. To actualize this vision, we need your support and partnership. Join forces with us to improve rural infrastructure, enhance quality education, boost healthcare, and foster economic growth. Together, we can create opportunities for youth empowerment and employment, promote cultural heritage, and ensure food security and strengthen community social services. How you can support: participate in community engagement forums and collaborate with local government authorities and the Ministry of Community Development. Come, let's build a prosperous Bayelsa together.
Let there be peace, all not for peace.
Courtesy, Honorable Alfred Belamonte Watson, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Community Development. The impacts of climate change are upon us, necessitating adaptation and resilient building. In Bayelsa State, the recent annual rainy season has brought severe consequences, including excessive flash floods and river flooding, causing untold hardship for residents. However, under the leadership of His Excellency Senator Doye Duri, the Prosperity Government has taken proactive measures to mitigate these effects.
Well, 2027 election is only a few months away. So there's been a lot of politicking, there's been the endorsements, there's been the defections. The political conversation has also been very hot this period. And well, we're looking to have this conversation especially around Bayelsa and specifically in Southern Ijaw constituency too. And, so we thank you plenty for staying with us on this episode of Chat with Naija Live TV. My name is Henry Armifula, and on this episode we have someone who is an aspirant. Someone who's been a member of the APC before now, and well, recently resigned from the APC. So we're joined this episode by the comrade Sigby Linus. It's good to have you. A very good day to you and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Henry. Good day to you as well. Thank you.
Welcome again to Naija Live TV and to this episode of the program.
Thank you very much. You have such a nice place here, and I will say everyone should come here for their interviews and any program.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's jump right in. Southern Ijaw constituency 2. That's where you hail from, and exactly why are you seeking to be a representative of that particular area, and how would you describe development in Southern Ijaw constituency 2? Let's start with just 1999 to 2026. That's the start of the Fourth Republic right now.
Okay, Mr. Henry, I want to appreciate you for this very germane question, because the Southern Ijaw constituency 2, for sake of demography description, we have two unique clans, unique people, two unique people. You know, they have the Oproma people and the Tarakri people. Though politically it is divided into two wards, that is the Oproma Ward 1 and the Oproma Ward 2. Now, you asked why I am coming in for this political exercise. It's same question, just like why do you come into politics? You know, growing up as a young person, as a little child, growing up, from my background and also from what I've been exposed to over time, I've seen that our people, especially in the Naija Delta region at large, we are faced with numerous immense challenges. And the aim of politics is to bring development to your people. How best can you bring in development to your people, to the child, to the mother, to the adult, and everyone that makes up the constituency? So my aim of coming into politics is to see how best I can attract development to my people. In this case, through legislative service. So it's all about the people. So yeah,
what are some of those things you think you would like to do? These problems, particularly, you know that Southern Niger constituency too are being rocked by, that you would like to help solve.
Well, there is, in fact, every sector of human endeavor, there are problems. Even the first world countries, second world countries, third world countries, as they are classified, all have several challenges. And what is the essence of man is to solve problems. So to me, as an aspirant coming in to represent the people of the Southern Niger constituency too, specifically in the legislative arm of government, is basically to bring in development and solve the problems in the educational sector, in the health sector, in the agricultural sector, in the business and enterprise sector, in every aspect of life, infrastructural sector, and every aspect of life that can make my people, because the essence of governance and the essence of the government in the Nigerian constitution is simply for the welfare and security of the people. So if you cannot deliver welfare and security to the people, then the purpose has been eluded. So I am looking at these areas because I've observed that as a healthcare professional, I'm a nurse by profession, and meanwhile, Happy Nurses Day to all nurses internationally, because yesterday was our day. So I have observed that our primary healthcare system within the constituency, and because of course when you get into the House of Assembly, you're not going there just for your people. You're also going there to serve the entire Bayelsa state, and sometimes even Nigeria at large, because there are these are the core aspects of service to the people. So I am looking at these areas, using these tools, these legislative tools, to bring in development to my people. If there are no health facilities that are working, because let's for instance the health sector, we have what we call the B-Mong and the C-Mong facilities. B-Mong facilities are classified in the primary health sector system, while the C-Mong are supposed to be secondary health sector system. You know, until recently that we are having a referral system, thanks to His Excellency Governor Doyobiri for providing the Opuruma Referral Hospital, and also the infrastructure, the road, that bridge has really bridged a lot of gaps. So most of our women will not be dying from simple conditions like PPH, that is a postpartum hemorrhage that occurs sometimes because of poor handling of pregnancy and delivery system. So what am I here to do? Let me see that the basic healthcare needs of our people, because definitely I will be a member of the House Committee on Health, or I'll maybe, if God willing, I may even be the chairman of the Health Committee on Health, and I'll be able to drive these policies, these laws that will ensure that our system works.
Well, typically, as someone who is a nurse, one would wonder exactly why a nurse would be going into politics. But then again, of course, nurses are those who care, who nurture, right? Yeah, that's a different, another way to call the nurse. You nurture, you take care of people. So typically, you're here to take care of the needs of the constituency.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean that makes sense, and bias at large. That makes sense a lot. But then, as a nurse and also one who is into the healthcare system, you'd also know that one of the problems we have in our primary healthcare system, like you had mentioned, is the fact that there are barely people at the health centers. If you check, you'd probably find that at best 2-3 communities you must find one health center, in Bayelsa State, and also in your constituency, right? Well, there's a problem of lack of practitioners being present. There are only a few healthcare facilities, primary healthcare facilities, that are actually operational. I mean, that's not having skeletal operations, properly operational. You're going to the assembly. What exactly are you going to do? Is this by way of bill, by way of motion? I particularly don't quite think motions do anything, but I think bills could actually help the day. in
Okay.
many cases. But what are you doing particularly to ensure that staffers who are employed go to work, or those who, I mean, if there are places where staffers are not quite employed, or where you want to use ad hoc staff, I mean, typically, what are you going to do to ensure that there are much more staffers who are working?
Okay, I already have drafted a motion because this problem is to be solved by motion, and motions help. Bills, even a law, if there is no willpower, political willpower, nothing happens. But the motions, it is a motion of public importance, urgent public importance, that can solve this issue of staffing and also the attitude of staff to work. Now in Bayelsa State, we have 105 wards. I developed a motion called Project 105. That is the 105 wards that we must have adequate primary health system, working systems in each of the 5 wards, so that nobody would rush to FMC or NUTH for primary health care needs. Now, our system is that for now we do not have sufficient manpower. Good thing that the primary health care board recently advertised for intake of healthcare practitioners, healthcare workers, including nurses. I believe that they will take at least 800 nurses, because we need, in fact, in every community, in our community, we have, in our Naija community, we have a primary health care center. We have 2 cottage hospitals that are not operational, but the primary health care center is operational, but not 100% up to its ability. The functionality is not 100%. There's no primary health care facility that we can say is 100%. So these are the areas we need to liaise with the commissioner and the Ministry of Health to push up a motion and say that, please, government, we have our people dying. Government, we have our people dying because of little preventable diseases. Can we load our primary health system with enough nurses, with enough doctors, with enough CHUs, with enough cleaners and secretaries and whichever persons that are supposed to be working there, because there is a minimum standard prescribed by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency that these are the number of staff that are supposed to be there. So can we abide by this? Can we work with this and ensure that our people have access to, because primary healthcare definition is just access to health, affordable health that are close to the people. So I will raise a motion specifically for this purpose, that and call on the attention of the executive arm of government to ensure that we employ enough manpower based on need, so that we will not even be rushing to the referral hospital at Okoroma, so that the people that want to deliver, let them deliver at Ayama or at Ludo or at Bula Gobri that is even landlocked, instead of coming down. Then the attitude to work, if there is a motion like that, that means I'm a representative of the people, because God willing I am voted in. So I have to be always there with the people. I'm not a Minagwa-based politician that will just stay here and be not even interact with the people. So I will go there to the health centers and follow up.
Currently in River State, are you going to quit that for politics?
No, that is a private, non-governmental engagement.
Okay.
Of course, I've discussed with my employers that I am going in for this service, and God willing, I am voted into power. My workplace have already given me that leverage that okay, when you are voted into power, this is what we are going to do. This is service. That is service, depending on the conditions of service of the employer.
Yeah.
So it does not affect public or whatever area. So I interact with the people. I see that a pregnant woman, if I am there, so oversight, having that oversight function, that is where oversight comes in. So a motion to ensure that nurses get there, then oversight to ensure that the nurses are there working, or the doctors are there working.
Affecting staff morale and some of these staffers, from going to the primary healthcare centers and to administer their services is, like you mentioned, working conditions, not enough remuneration, even where they stay in these constituencies is a problem. Some of the houses are poor. Sometimes they don't even have a house to stay, because of course, the popularity and around Bayelsa City, that's not necessarily Yanagua, housing deficit here. That's one thing that maybe you'd like to.
All these things will be handled by Project 105 motion that's already in the bakery. It's already ready to be eaten. So immediately I'm voted into power, this project 105 motion that will be raised will take care of the housing issue, because staff, if you send me to Lobia or to Okodia Zarama in a local government area, at least I should have a little house that I can lay my head and take care of, because there is what we call residential midwives. These are health workers that stay around the facility, so that midnight anytime, so far there is a pregnant woman or an emergency, they take care of them immediately, give them that succor, that immediate health attention before moving them. I'm just feeling that we are focusing on the health sector, which we have
mentioned primary health center.
exactly.
I'm going to
and I love it that you have good interest in the primary health sector, because that is also
that's your interest.
That's my heart. That's what breeds my heart.
That's what I'm here.
Yes, I'm here
in the local level.
Yes.
Right? You have mentioned that Diri has taken road there.
Yes.
There is a referral hospital in Opuro. But then there are problems with primary health care centers, and so we're expanding.
Yeah, exactly. So the referral system, the referral hospital, is to manage only cases that cannot be handled by the primary health centers. And also another thing is not just the state government. The local government also have something to do, because you have to augment the efforts of the state governor or the state government. Let me put it that way. Because while the staff do not have accommodation, the local government chairman can say, okay, I want to build per community 3-bedroom flats for nurses and doctors and other children that will be there to at least have a place to lay their head and be coming to work and take care of our people. And also electricity is a problem. I have a model called the PPE. The PPE is not the personal protective equipment that we know, but personnel, power, and equipment. That is it. I'm just revealing. I hope my competitors will not come and steal my idea.
Well, even if they do steal your idea and they use it, is it not to the benefit of the?
No, the thing about idea is that he who bears the idea knows how best to run with it. Okay. That's why even the Bible says, write it down and run with this vision. So this PPE idea is about personnel. When we treat the personal issue, what about power? Now we have solar power system. I will go to the NDDC as health committee member or chairman on health in the state and tell them that please, our healthcare centers need an intervention, because it's an interventionist agency or commission. Our people, please, I will need at least, even if it's 5 kilowatt or 10 kilowatt power grid in each of the health centers across the thing. You know, when there is power, people will even be going there more. Because when our women go, now touch them, they carry deliver also. How do we need to even go there? Make a local go die for them, because pregnancy and delivery is like a life and death experience. So everybody is very careful. They rather want to go to Naija than come to our primary health center, because they feel that there are no sufficient manpower to handle their cases. Okay, well. So we will work on those areas through oversight and motions.
Okay, that's good to know.
And strengthening those where necessary.
Okay, that's good to know now. But prevention, they say, is better than cure.
Always.
Right? And so there is, I'm a journalist, so
okay.
I travel the creeks, hinterlands. I know that there is this culture of drinking from the river, and we call it our water now. You know, do us anything.
I mean, betting on the kill African man.
Well, that's a rather cliche notion, but this is one that I like to think is much more relevant. Something that we would often do. I mean, was it just 3 months ago? I saw people who would drink from the water, the river water. They say the flu.
I saw it today in my community.
They say the flu, and typically they scoop and they drink.
Yes. And someone else is defecating
somewhere. And I asked the question to someone who is a health professional sometime. When they say water the flu, it means say cholera the flu come out too. I mean, get possible say you go fetch cholera drink. So there is this notion, first of sensitization, second of how are you going to ensure through these motions that we have some of the facilities we need, water, low cost water, but water we can drink, portable drinking water is made available for those persons who are in Southern Ijaw constituency. So how would we ensure this? Remember that most times the focus is on Yenagoa. Even when the governor says he's going to go to water after he does the power supply issue in Yenagoa, in Yenagoa, it's still in Yenagoa, not in Southern Ijaw. So in Southern Ijaw constituency too, what are the plans?
Okay, as a representative, you have very broad lobbying opportunities where you can liaise with even the IOCs, because in Oporoma, the headquarters of the local government, and also the headquarters of Ward 1, the people of Ward 1 that are representing, it holds oil wells. It even holds Shell, RGB is there. At least these people should be able to also contribute to our development. Apart from the provisions that will come for constituency development from the areas, at least we should be able to have sustainability. Because another thing is that if you go to each of these communities, there are spoiled water projects. Sometimes they have stolen the solar panels, sometimes they have vandalized this or that. Now, why can't we also research on this and bring up sustainable potable water, because it's part of the SDG, the SDG goals, that is the Sustainable Development Goals. I think is it goal 8 or goal 3. I cannot get the exact distance. It's part of the Sustainable Development Goal, which everybody in this country and the world are getting money
all of the
from.
Sustainable Development Goals. I don't quite think of anyone that Nigeria has
achieved. So it's a work in progress. While it is a work in progress, we must also be consensually doing the right thing at the right time. How much is a borehole to be dug? If a very dark man is digging borehole for people, why can't I use at least my allowances if there is no money at all? But if there is no money, I still have access, because I'm already the healthcare professional. I have access to UNICEF, I have access to World Health Organization, I have access to Bill and Gates Foundation, I have access to CHAI and other platforms that I can lure and bring in to provide these boreholes for my people. Even if it is that one, we call it Bokobili, that they will just manually just shake it. Like in those days we used to just shake it up and down, and before you know, the water comes out.
But can that happen in Bayelsa?
Yes, it is still functional. I think there is one still working at the community, but I think the treatment, they've not treated it again for a while, so the water is otherwise.
So that cost effective.
Very cost effective. Something that can be operated by even a 10-year-old child.
It's manual.
It's
so
manual.
You could just
you don't need a solar panel that will be stolen. You don't need a borehole generator that people. Even if it will need a borehole, then you will just set up. Just 2 million naira can set up a good borehole for at least the people around 100 meters
solar
of
powered.
that. No, even if it's not solar powered, even if you get a generator, how much is the generator that will pump that in? Then you make it their project. Let them see the project as their project, not your project.
And there's several
so that they will now even say, okay, water don't finish, let us contribute. But can you say, sorry for speaking in job,
no,
this is my constituency.
So you can.
Buddha can say 100 naira to that, get 2 liters of fuel, and that's what I can be pump there. And most of them will be willing. In my community in Ayama Ejo, before now we were contributing 100 naira. I think as at 2010, 2012, we were contributing 100 naira per flat to power our community generator so that we can have light. So why can't such things be? Let the people own the project, let the people work with the project, and see how they can also protect, because so far they own that project, they protect it. You don't just hand it over to one. At least there are chiefs in each of the compounds. There are opinion leaders. Say, and they carry this thing, give on now, make on our own and tie to. If this thing is spoiled now, if it's spoiled now, I will repair them. If the burden of repair is on them, you place it on their mind like that, and they will be able to also see how they can protect and maintain it. Because even the thieves that will spoil those things are within the community now.
Alrighty. There are many persons who would ask you this question. Mayhaps a tough question, but all the same, they ask you this question. You've been in the constituency, you're a stakeholder, you're one who's knowledgeable, and all of a sudden you're deciding to run for office, deciding to run for assembly seats to represent the Southern Niger constituency too. They've had a representative all this while. They've had one particular representative for 15 years or more. I mean, that's like since 2011 up until now. They've had one particular representative who's done 4 tenures. And all of these things you've mentioned are lagging, are not seen in the constituency. Did you at any time try to reach out to your representative, who's currently representing you now, by the way? At any point, did you reach out to him with these ideas to say, Honorable, this is important, we should do this? And what was the response you got?
Okay, like I think just recently, my leader, because he's still my leader, Whether I'm no longer in the same party platform.
We'll talk about your
yes. Right, Honorable, everyone has his or her own strengths and weaknesses. For me as a person, I have learned the ropes over the years, over his years of representation, and I'll consolidate on the areas of his strength and also ensure that the areas of weaknesses, which he will even be the one to even say, oh boy, this area are not to do well, because there's nobody that is perfect. So this area are not to do well, you try and handle it like that. And also personally, I've been engaging with him. The recent one is the bill that was passed for resident doctors to be trained on scholarship. I now had a discussion with, I said, why don't we also include nurses and pharmacists? That would be also
a bill for resident doctors
to be trained on scholarship. Yes, yes. I think it was last year that it was passed. So he said,
resident doctors native to Southern Naija constituency.
No, not native. It's Bayelsa State. You know, as a representative, you are making laws for the entire state.
Now,
yes, a bill. So that was done, and after I approached him, he mentioned, "Don't worry, this bill will be easy way you come out to. So let us." And it's allowed to be implemented. We can always repeal and make adjustments. So, like, I already have that background of what he has been doing.
If he's your leader, what are the areas he really accomplished other than this bill you mentioned that you're happy for 15 years? What are the things that Obolobobo did that you're very, very comfortable with, and you can say, yeah, my leader, you tried?
I would not be the one to say his accolades.
I mean, you called your leader, that's why.
Yes, he's my leader. I wouldn't want to, because if I know a lot that he has done, the walkways that he has influenced, even the Purma Bridge that we just commissioned, and Gama Purma Bridge that was commissioned, the referral hospitals. Those things don't just come on their own now. People, there is always lobbying. There's always a lobbying person there. So if you had been following him, you can see that he always go to the sites and oversight. Those are oversight functions, and you're going to check the progress of the work, and because he has interest, because he has lobbied this development to these areas. So definitely he has done his own part. And yes, there may be little areas that he must have not done very much well, but there is always room for improvement. That's why we that have learned the ropes are to take over and improve on those areas, consolidate on the places that he has done so well, and now serve the people better. That is the essence of leadership.
Alrighty. Your resignation from the All Progressives Congress, on what premise? Why exactly do you leave from the All Progressives Congress? A party that many persons will say is gaining popularity, especially with the miracle governor defecting to the APC. Well, that's where our opinions on some persons that the party is popular. But you're leaving the party at a time when it is most popular in Bayelsa, if that's the way to use it.
Well, in life, there comes a time where sometimes the things you see that are the best to do, or the platforms you see that are the best to stand on, becomes the platform that you have to leave to go to a more challenging platform to achieve that goal for the people. Now, while I left the APC, I've been there for over 8 years. I've served the party. I've served the party on various capacities. I was campaigning is it welfare? Yeah, welfare, or no, not welfare. I was part of the campaign team for Andy Ziadna when he was running for the State House Assembly under the APC. I was one of the executives there. I cannot even recall the portfolio properly, but I will definitely get it.
That's fine.
Just the last elections, I worked as the party ward agent. So I was the one that was committing the results with the INEC people alongside the PDP person who was one of the major persons that was working. So, and I also was the election committee chairman of the Ward 2, Constituency 2, Ward 2. But, at this juncture, I contested, I aspired for this position in 2023 elections. In 2022, a committee was set up and I appeared before the committee, and unfortunately the party leader said, okay, let us hand it over to Chief Andy Ziadna, who defected us at that time from the PDP to the APC, and he was given the ticket. And he said, okay, let us run with it. And I was given that assurance that when the next time of election comes up, that definitely will be carried along and will be considered for this position. And these meetings were done at Newcastle Hotel, Liberty Hotel. These are popular hotels in the state. And also my leaders called and said, don't worry, we are still young, the next time we'll definitely get it and the rest. So fast forward to 2026 here, I also expressed my interest to run for the position. And same leaders are still telling me that not all of them, because at least I had some level of votes from the committee to be part of the 3 persons that the governor had instructed the party to pick. I wasn't part of the 3 persons that was picked. Out of the 3, someone that was promised that, okay, you will be given the opportunity to push this thing the next time, wasn't even picked. Not that I'm not qualified. Yes, some of the leaders even confided in me that, see, I know that we are the best fit for this project, but because of politics, the dynamics of politics and this and that, that's why I have that confidence that any party I run from definitely will make success and will take the victory.
You left the APC because you were not quite picked.
I was not considered because...
And you were one of the 3 persons.
I wasn't even considered as part of the 3 persons.
So they had this screening committee
because
you out?
Yes, would I say screen out? I would say I wasn't considered, not screen out, because if you say screen out, that it means you're part of the screening. Yes, I appeared for the screening. If you say screened out, it means you are disqualified. But I wasn't screened out, I was dropped, and other persons were picked. Even when some of the committee members said,
were you part of the screening?
Yes, we're 18 of
aspirants.
Us. Yeah, but it's the committee that, yes, it was the committee that, but I wasn't an aspirant, because until you buy form, that's when you become a legitimate aspirant. Okay. So the governor in his wisdom had arranged a committee to at least look at us, and so personal leadership for some interest came in, and I wasn't picked. That notwithstanding, as a leader, if you are determined to do something, not in desperation, such occurrences only boosts you and make you see more opportunities. That, okay, yes, this is a hurdle that have come. It's just like a hurdle race. If you are in politics and you're not expecting any hurdle to come your way, it means you're not ready to deliver for your people, because even the delivery, even the representation is a hurdle race. You have to solve problems. So when I wasn't quite picked among the 3, I felt that it is necessary that maybe I seek another platform to run with the support of my leaders, because in this race that I'm still running, my leaders still are behind me. Yes, even the governor is behind me. Yes.
How are you certain so? Are they going to support you against what the APC wants?
The APC, what the APC wants, the governor is not in charge of local selections. Okay, so
well, he's the leader of the party.
Yes, he's the leader of the party. It doesn't necessarily need to.
Did not favor the consensus. You guys practically did consensus.
No, there's no consensus yet. They are still in the process of consensus.
They've not picked anybody yet.
Nobody has been picked.
The committee is not through with its work for Southern Naija constituency too.
No, there's a different. I think the committee stuff was stepped down and allowed other processes to take place.
So will there be a direct primary for that?
No, that is not my party, so I cannot.
You had that's the party you just left.
Yeah, for now I cannot tell you what is involved, because definitely the party have to choose the way. Because if every other person resigns or withdraws their interest, definitely it becomes consensus. But if, for instance, they go into there's a problem there, and maybe 1 or 2 other persons do not want to listen, definitely they will go into direct primaries where every party member will register party member.
Why you did not quite want to go into direct primaries?
No, not
because there could not be. There was not a consensus for you to be
not even a part of the 3 persons, because some of the reasons were like, I still have more years, and
youth,
which means the youth do not have any say or any stake in the leadership or the leadership that was.
Well, you understand leadership now, right?
Of course, I do. So
as a youth now, they say just wait for your leaders to go. It will be your turn.
Which means you are not confident that what I have learned from you over the years, and the Constitution of Nigeria allows me to run, and you even gave me a promise that next time it will be yours.
You're running from, you're learning from somebody, right?
Yes, the people I am learning from is not the Bolivarian. He's going to House of Reps. He has given me the platform to come in. He has given me the platform to come in and represent our people. He has already trained me enough. He said, okay, this man is now fit. Let me live for this younger generation. That is the essence of him living. If not, it is the tenure. There's no tenure system in the House of Assembly. You would have system for 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th tenure. But he has felt that maybe I have trained some people, the youth, to take over, because he himself was in his 30s when he came into power. The first person by Stafford Ngolo in the old right on Stafford Ngolo in the old River State. He was in his 20s, late 20s, and early 30s when he was representing the constituency, and also Target Segibo. He was 26 years, going to 27 years when he represented the constituency out of Hawkins Calabar. He was also in his 30s and 20s to represent. So why is it different now that something has there is a chronological system of allowing the youth to read in that space? Why is it that it is this period that the youths of today are supposed to benefit from this system, that the goalpost is being shifted to over 40s and over 60s and 70s? It becomes a system that will not favor the youth, and the youth, mind you, makes up more than 60% of even the party structure, the party system, and also the population of the country. And they are in touch with the people. And mind you, all the 33 persons that were picked from all the 24 constituencies in the state, nobody is there that is less than 35 years of age. They picked above 35 years. It means there is no hope for the youth in this system, not just Satanism, but Bayelsa State system of selection. It means that you have to be 80 years before you can run for House of Assembly, which we as youth
that's probably an exaggeration.
No, it's we are.
But then you old people.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just trying to give a figure of speech that you have to be metaphorical, hyperbolical statement expression that you have to be 80 years old, you have to be with walking stick. You have to be frail and old before you can get to the state assembly, or you have to be not in touch with the people again before you can now go into representation, which is what we the youths, because we have been told even in our primary nursery school rhymes that children, listen to your parents. You are the leaders of tomorrow. That tomorrow they were talking about yesterday is today. So now, when the today has come that you promised me, you are not telling me that you are shifting the goalpost again to make my tomorrow another thing again. No, it's quite. That's why I said it's not out of desperation, but it is. I'm acting based on the stakeholders, because also mind you that when these challenges come up, the stakeholders are not looking at you to just rest on your ass. They are also expecting you to take drastic efforts if you are deliberate about representing the people. If there's no APC platform for you after 8 years of service to the party, why can't you see the constitution allows you to represent the constituency from any other platform?
So now you resigned from the All Progressives Congress?
Yes, I resigned from the
joined what party?
I've joined the party, but I will not make it public for now. For sake of technicalities, I'll call it like that. You are not a politician, so you will not understand.
But I mean, this is a rather unconventional kind of politics. I know that. I mean, even let's deviate now from the APC. In the ADC, we had defections to the NDC.
Yes.
But what political party are you running under?
I belong to a political party.
The people ought to know. So
they will definitely know.
It means that if you say I'm a member of the AA, of the AMP, or whatever names there is, it just, you put that in the consciousness of people, and so when you get to that time for them to do the thumbprint, it will not be hard for them.
No,
if you tell them I'm an umbrella man, I mean, if you don't tell them you're an umbrella man and get to that, I don't know this person. Sometimes most persons don't know you.
Yeah,
not everybody in your constituency.
No, everybody knows me.
In your constituency too.
Everybody knows me. There's nobody that don't know Sikmi Linus in constituency 2 Silga, both in the Pulma clan and in the Tarakan clan, both in Ward 1 and Ward 2. There's nobody.
That is a very, very bold declaration.
Yes, there's nobody that doesn't know Sikmi Linus.
We fact check around here.
Yes, please fast check me. Go and fact check.
In all of the Southern Ijaw
constituency 2, go and ask anyone that is of voting age,
As
18
popular
years
as
and
Monday
above.
Bolo Bubo is, do you think everybody in
Everybody knows Obolobibo in constituency.
have you done a research?
Even yes, of course. I live with the people. I am a grassroots man.
You might be popular, very popular, yeah, but to say everybody knows
There's
it,
how can you not know your representative? Because except the person who is not even going to school, or the person who has not participated in, because there's no way you will not see campaign posters and the rest in the constituency at least one time or the other for 4 tenures. No, nah. Definitely everyone that is of 18 years of age, they know him. They know me as well. As someone that has learned the ropes, I've not only learned the ropes in the state assembly, I've also learned the ropes in the national assembly through Piri Oseki, because I've worked with him, I've learned the ropes. That's why I am going to tell you about motions, tell about bills, oversight function, lobbying, and this, because I've learned the ropes. I'm competent to be able to express what I have learned. So, and even a child that you said to be a leader of tomorrow, if you don't give them the platform to express what they have learned, at least there should be a test now. Even in school, they give a test to a child that have learned one or two to show whether he has learned. So give me the test of the state assembly by voting me into power, and I'll be able to show to the world, show to the constituency, represent Bayelsans very well, that they will get the right representation.
you're a youth. There is a number of things that you many would think you lack. You know, to run election successfully in Nigeria, you need money, a lot of money, and you may not favorably compete with some of those who are running in terms of money. And we know that politics is that is money dominated. You have to do mobilization, however you want to put it. That's one. Also authority. Those who are elders seem to be much more respected, and so when they say, someone who is old enough to be your father is telling you to do this, and you're saying otherwise, it feels as though, hey, you're supposed to just close your mouth and do what your father is. That's that subservient thing would often do around there. What makes you think that in Southern Ijaw constituency, to whatever party you choose to run, you will be voted for over these persons who are way older than you are? You, from your explanation, you are not even close to. You're not up to 40.
No, I'm 30 years of age.
No, I'm shocked, but that's fine. It's really kudos and commendable you doing this.
And I expect every Bayelsan to be like me, every Bayelsa youth.
It's absolutely commendable. This is
because if we have all of us like this, nobody will play with this.
Yeah. How do you think you're going to beat this problem we have? The money problem, my leader, this one, my leader, this leader, senior, this leader, that kind of thing. How are you going to beat all of those?
Okay, I think first off, I would love to say that the area of money is not. Money is not just the paper you see. Money is the value that you have. That's why we have what we call investors. That's why we have called investment. And investment per se is that you see that this table here can yield you something, then it will attract investors to bring in money. The value you present out there, you may have all the monies out there to run for an election and maybe 300 million, 400 million to run an election. But another person just have value, and that value can attract even the money plus influence, because money is not influence.
So you think that you have a lot of persons investing in your ambition? I
have all my constituents investing in my ambition.
Financially investing in your ambition?
Financially and otherwise, because it is this time that people will see that somebody will use his hard-earned 500 naira and pay to his polling unit and vote for Sipi Linus and the party that.
But if you have people, especially big men, who are investing in your ambition, do you not think they would want to collect when you get back in office?
Don't you think that if they want to collect when I get back, when I get to the office, if they want to get proceeds of the
your constituency project,
maybe they want to take from my allowances, because my constituency project fund is for my constituency now.
But somehow you have control of it.
That would be thievery. You are stealing from the constituents, and that's not what I am coming in for. You are not going there to steal money to give to your sponsor.
So if you're telling them this, you don't think they'll pull back?
There are several ways to convince an investor. Like I mentioned, I have a link with international non-governmental bodies. When they are coming to donate, it's not companies that work these works. these are people that will be donating to my aspiration. Don't they have companies to work these works? And it is legal to have profits from the project that you'll be running.
Clearly.
Then
what you've mentioned is, if there's a contract and there is a bidding for the contract, you would rather favor those who supported you.
I would favor those who voted for me. Because even the people that has voted for you have more higher stake than people that have invested. But these people that have invested in this because they see the future. Because it's it's a give and take. It's a mutual benefit. Yes, if there's let me
pose this question. It's a poser. You have a question. You have a contract to give out for a particular project, and there are those who supported you, even financially supported you, gave financial resources for you to be there, and then there are other persons who did not quite support you. They must have voted for you in some way, but then they did not quite give you any of the resources. Do you think it's morally justifiable that you would now give the contract to somebody that did not even support you financially, over somebody who supported you and spent a lot of money?
Contracts are done through bidding. So if there is a bidding done and whoever merits it will take it. For instance, if because you supported me financially and in votes, and I made it there, and you have a company and you bidded for that thing and you merited it to get it, why wouldn't I give it? Why would it be called favoritism? What is wrong in supporting who supported you? It's not. There's nothing wrong there because he or she has merited that contract to be given.
In some way, you don't even think of. Let me just.
It's for merits. It's not by. Okay, this contract must be for you because you supported me. No, there's nothing like that. It's through merit. You have to merit it, bid for it. Then the area of talking about age, leave it for the older people. And then when will it be the turn of the young people to come in and also express what they have learned over the years? That is by the way. And let me also inform you. Of course, you know that there's an adage that says the child that washes his hands well, he can eat with elders. And also the Bible says that a man that is diligent in his ways, he stands before kings and queens and not before men. So whether you are young or old, it's not about age. It's about what you can deliver, the value you can bring to the people, representation that you can bring to the people. That matters, not about the age. The age factor does not come into play, except for people that may want to be sentimental about age factor. And those persons actually, I would say I feel sorry for them because they are supposed to look at value, what you can bring to the table.
Okay, let's talk some more about how you intend to convince people to vote for you and your party you've not quite revealed to the people as at this moment, over a party that has gained popularity, a party that the current representative is from that party and the governor is from that party. He's not running,
the governor is also running in my constituency.
No, he's not. You had mentioned that the governor
I'm the governor's candidate.
That's a bold statement. You made a lot of bold and categorical statements here today.
Because the
governor come out and say he's my candidate?
The people's candidate is the governor's candidate. The governor cannot go against the people.
And you're not a member of the APC.
I am the people's.
But the governor will tell you that the APC candidate is my candidate to support. Why do you do anti-party?
Why I say that?
Oh, you're suggesting.
No, not suggesting. I am saying it in fact. I am the governor's candidate, not because he will go and do anti-party, but because he will allow the people to express themselves. This is democracy. The governor is someone that encourages democracy and value for the people. Thing. So if he encourages democracy, I see myself as governor's candidate. Not necessarily coming to give me money to go and run the election or to instruct people that this is the person I want you to vote for. That's why I say I am the governor's candidate, because governor is for the people and by the people and is of the people. So if the people say Linus is our candidate, the governor has no other choice than to say.
In that case, your opponent could still advance the same arguments. I'm the governor's candidate. I mean, you all just keep on using
then the people will not decide.
And whoever the people decide to choose.
Of course, I am confident that
really was the governor's candidate.
Yeah, the people will go for me.
That's like just using the governor's name at the end of the day because
he's our people.
Tell you, hey, I did not quite support
the governor is our leader. He's the leader of the state. He's the leader of all political parties.
He has an opinion.
Apart from,
have you heard from him that you are the one he's supporting?
He has mentioned that he's opening a fair contest. That's why he even mentioned that we have opposition in the state.
Did he specifically tell you that I am supporting you?
He has not said that to any other person.
Good.
He hasn't said that to
So
any
the
other
government has
person.
not endorsed anybody.
He hasn't endorsed, but I am saying that by way of allowing democracy to take effect,
You are
I am
more likely to be supported by the governor.
not supported because it is the people. He has no choice against the people. The governor is not against the people. He's for the people. So if the people say, Lionel Sikri, you are our candidate, the governor has no option than to allow democratic actions to take place, exercise to take place, and for the people to enjoy the dividends of democracy to them, the benefits that will come through quality legislative representation. That is what I'm saying, that the governor is endorsing me, how do I say it, indirectly by allowing democracy to take its effect.
Wow.
So you were talking about how would I get votes from against the ruling party.
Yeah.
I think this response I've already answered it in a way, because if the people are for you, I have been in opposition before. APC was opposition party until the government came in to the party. We were only at this thing. Consistently, we have been running elections and making moves. The results are there. Our results are out there. We are in touch with the people. We are in touch with the electorates that votes. So that's why I say even the money factor is not as important as the people. It's the people first. By the time the people say this is who we want, the people will. I think there's also an adage that says if someone cooks for the community, they can finish it. But if the people cook for the person, for an individual, if the community cooks for one person, he cannot finish it. So if the people now say, okay, this is the person which they will do, this is the person we are going for. And even if it is 100 naira, they say they bring out, and they don't even need to give them money. They just need to come out and cast their votes and protect it to the end. That is just the essence of a political exercise.
We've talked about healthcare.
Yeah.
That's like a priority area.
Because I'm a health professional,
exactly.
and health is wealth.
Absolutely.
And wealth is the welfare.
Typically, health is very, very integral.
But every other areas are.
There are other areas, of course. The economy of your people, Southern Naija. What do you reckon is something you have as a comparative advantage over others, and how do you intend to push it? Is it sugar cane? They would often say that Southern Naija has sugar cane. Is that sugar cane? I'm not getting that correctly. Anyway, I don't know, but. In Southern Naija constituency too, what do you think as per plant, that you have as comparative advantage, and how are you looking to perhaps do small scale industrialization? I mean, you are not a governor; it's not an executive position, but I mean, by virtue of your position as assembly member, there are a number of things you could influence, and a number of bills, motions sponsored to help the executive do all of these things.
Thank you for already seeing me as the assembly member representing the good people of Southern Naija constituency too. I am by God's grace.
By God's grace.
We are talking about economic stability in our constituency. And economic stability, trade, agriculture, they work together. And I have very beautiful bills that will be statewide bills that will institute, because for now it's somewhat they are already doing it. The governor is already doing it from various skills and other areas that they are already doing. I am coming in to legislate on this issue, on the matter, especially for women and the youth, to ensure that they have support from the government. I believe you've watched Lions Den and the Pentagon, that people come with their business ideas, present their business ideas, and you see that okay, this one can go, this one can fly, and they will now pick it for sponsorship. Investors pick it for sponsorship. I aim to bring in a legislator, a law that will give our youths what to do, and the influence will be from the government, so that everybody will not be focusing just on being a politician. Well, being a politician is good, but let us also have skills. From my own end, I'm looking at influence, because in the Southern Naija constituency too, we do not have any technical school that teaches our people skills. I will definitely, in my first 4 years, influence an institution that will be teaching our people skills, whether it is shoemaking, hairdressing, and these people, they are the basic crux of every economy, the petty traders. So as a person, I've looked at all these areas and carefully written a very beautiful bill that will fly and become a law, that our people will have the access to funding. Because most times, if you ask the youths, even someone that is in secondary school, they have all the mindset, all the ideas. Even yourself, you have very beautiful ideas, but the basic issue is capital. And capital does not just come from the air. It comes from investors, it comes from government, and maybe private support, or from your family, or maybe you save to establish such. So, in my own view, I've looked at, apart from establishing that thing, immediately you graduate from there, there should be a sustainability plan that the executive arm, through the local government, because we already have what we call the rural development agencies, the areas, RODA, rural development areas. I think their job is to ensure that we engage these offices. We engage these offices to ensure that, and the councillors and local government, to ensure that there is what we call, don't worry, let me not reveal it, so that my opponents will not go and pick it for.
But
we have lofty ideas to ensure that every Bayelsa youth, not just in constituency 2, every Bayelsa youth have access to the proper funding of whatever they want to go into. And even if they have already gone, like in this place, definitely as a worker here, you already know what is needed extra to bring in, expand your business, because business expansion is another thing where we can support as a government. So as a legislator, I have the expertise, the competence to lobby for grants, for loans, soft loans, and how many, if I ask my people, I don't even know how many persons have been benefited from the Bank of Industry or Bank of Agriculture in my terrain. I cannot even, because I don't know any, but I know plenty people. But I don't know any because the people have not had access to these areas.
Okay, well, let's pack it up at this point now. Let's have you share your final note to your constituents on your capacity and the promise of effective representation. How you intend to do all of this? I mean, in a final note.
Okay, my final note is to the Southern Naija constituency to elect the people that will vote for me. Do not look at APC, PDP, NDC, SDP, and whatever party they represent. Look at the candidates that can bring value to you. You are not able to support your child that is in school with as little as maybe 50,000 naira for school fees. Now school fees are being paid. You will not be able to do that because there are no support systems. I am coming in to bring in that support system. I'm the key to bring in the support system for your child to go to school, for you to go to your farm and ensure that your farm brings in productive results. And the key that will bring in development, the requisite development in infrastructure, so that you can have access to clean and potable water for drinking. And the key that will bring in that needed development, so that our children going to the primary school, the public secondaries and primary schools, will have a comfortable place of learning, that the teachers and the students will match up. I am the key to that. I am also the key that the health care centers will be working. I'm also the key that referral center will be highly valued and work to become a CMON facility. CMON means you can have even surgical operations there, and secondary and even tertiary healthcare expertise or healthcare practice can be taking place in that area. That is a CMON facility, that and the sustainability for the future. And as a young person, I have the advantage of being in touch with you, coming down to your place to meet with you. What do you need? Individually, I will go to people individually to get felt need. Felt, what do you think we can do for you as an individual? What do you think we can do for you as your as a compound? What do you think we can do for you as a community, as a ward, as a clan? What do you think you need most? I am the person that can do that, that can bring that dividend of democracy to the people, in specific areas, in agriculture, in health, in infrastructure, in the economic boosting, a robust economy and sustainable. Let us have a constituency that will be self-reliant in the economy and the rest, so that there will be money in the pocket of the youth, so that we will also avoid vices, drug abuse, and and all these other things. You cannot always blame someone with drug abuse and the rest when you are not providing him with even anything to do. You engage them, and also the mental resetting. We have to reset our people mentally. That see, when you engage in this way, this is where you will end up. When you engage in a productive enterprise like this is where you end up. They need to see these things. The sensitization need to continue for life.
Alright.
And we are the ones to bring in that sustainability, and we know that government is behind me. And also the people, most importantly, the people of Southern constituency, they are all behind me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Comrade Linus CP. It's been an interesting chat with you.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully that when you are there, you'd also come here and do this.
I also bring in development to you.
That's
because I'm representing the entire Bayelsa State, not just my people.
Well, that's because of your views, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, Comrade CP Linus. Comrade
Thank
CP
you.
Linus is an Ayama-born. Well, he's not a politician, but I was going to say
I'm a
an
politician.
Ayama-born nurse, right? Who, of course, is the secretary of the. What's that union again?
I work with the
Nursing
National
Union
Association of
in Rivers
Nigerian
State.
Nurses, yeah.
Nursing Union in Rivers State. And he's one who looks to represent the Southern Ijaw constituency to where there are a number of clans, like 2 clans, majorly, right?
Yes, basically. we have
There are
to
several
come.
communities.
Yeah.
Well, he's talked a lot about representation and how he intends to deliver effective representation on this episode of our program. Well, my name is Henry Ahamoifula. We wish him all the best in his electoral journey, and hopefully that he becomes the representative and does all of this stuff. My name is Henry Ahamoifula, like I said, and thank you plenty for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Please pray hard so that I will succeed. Thank you.
Hello there, a jolly good day to you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Chat with Naija Live TV, where we have interesting discussions, topical discussions with interesting persons on them. Today, I am joined by someone who is no less interesting, and we have a conversation that many have shied away from for a while. Conversation that we should start talking about, especially because it's something that many would say is responsible for some of the challenges we're having, especially around governance in Nigeria. But yeah, today, let's discuss record keeping. We have an author joining us, and let me introduce our guest today on the program. She is Patience Doye Odele, an auditor who's worked with the Office of the Auditor General of Federation for 13 years plus. I'd like to add that. It's good to have you. Well, my name is Henry Ahamoifula. Good day and welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I should also add she's a model who has interest around African styles and all those.
Yeah.
How do you pair both together? You're an author, you write, and then you're also a model. How do you pair these two? And you're also an auditor, just so we add, like 3 things in one.
Yeah.
3 things in, one person doing 3 things. How do you pair these?
That's because we all have different aspects in life. So life, as you grow every day, you grow up with different things. You try to identify that you have different kind of things. So I know I love fashion. I love makeup as well, but I really love fashion. I just feel like as an Ijaw woman, sorry to say, but you know, Ijaw, we have culture and we believe in pride. We are proud of our culture.
I couldn't
So,
agree more.
and I grew up seeing my grandma always with African fabrics. Whenever my dad wants to buy her a gift, he has to get African fabric. If not, there will be problem. So I just told myself, growing up, oh my God, I think I want to be an African queen someday, showcasing African fabric all over the world. So when I heard about a show in Lagos, like you have to, then I was not in the country when I heard about it because it was my friend's show, Lola Sean. Kudos to you, Lola Sean, if you're watching me right now. And then I told her about it and she was like, oh, you have to come up on my show. Like, just come give us what you have. So I was on a runway in Lagos. I did well, but I mean, it's not easy joining both together, work.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
One could simply say that it's, like you mentioned, passion. You went to school and then you're an auditor, yeah? And afterwards, from the experience, auditing for
Yeah.
several years, you could write a book. That's how you're an author. But then there is something that is always you're always passionate about, and that's clearly hitting wrong ways and being a model, especially around the African thing. Well, I'm happy so, and it's good to have you
Thank
again
you.
on the program. Let's now narrow into our conversation for the day: record keeping, quite specifically. Record keeping and accountability, strengthening institutions through proper documentation. Do you think there is a death? Do you think there's a problem somewhere? I mean, what must have necessitated this? What motivated you to put pen to paper and say, let's talk about record keeping? It's a problem in Nigeria, or maybe it's a problem across Nigeria.
It is a big problem because I think Nigeria don't have this culture of record keeping. Sorry to say, but it's what I find out as an auditor. Most time when I go out to audit agencies, parastatals, I've been opportune, like I said earlier, I have been opportune to audit both ministries, federal medical centers, teaching hospitals, and even audit Nigerian House Atlanta, Nigerian House New York, and Nigerian House Washington DC. It's the same thing all over. When you go, you find out that there are lapses. When I mean lapses, the internal control is not as it may be. That's where you find out lapses. We have this culture of I don't care. They don't like keeping. And when you don't keep record, you find there are problems. That means you are trying to tell us you're not transparent enough. Because if you're transparent enough, you should be able to keep proper record. Growing up, we know I am from a polygamous home, and then we are 10 in number. Growing up, my dad works with Nigerian Ajip Oil Company. We all have our files growing up because he's always offshore. So my stepmom, if you need anything, you keep record. You keep record. Growing up, I understood the language of record keeping because my father cannot just give my stepmom 2 million naira and then she will not be able to keep record of the 2 million naira. Come on.
So that's how it starts. They give you
Yes.
2 million naira to get certain things, and you have to
Yes,
document.
in your home, you keep records. In your offices, those files they carry up and down, trying to do. It's record keeping. You can't say federal government now will give an agency 30 billion naira for their overhead or for capital. Then you're doing something else. It's when you keep proper record. Those that come in to audit, they will check it and see if you actually follow the proper record and if you are keeping the proper record. That's why we are having many lapses in Nigeria when proper records are not kept. And I think that's why the Auditor General is focused on proper record keeping. And I, as an auditor that have been opportune to work over 13 years, I think proper record keeping helps everybody. Not just because I'm an auditor, I'm saying it generally.
Oh, do you think many would not want to keep records because it just might come back to, bite them in the...
No, that is why I said that's where transparency come in. If you're transparent in what you're doing, it's just like you having a business. If you have a business and somebody comes to purchase, you have to record all this stuff. If it's in your invoice, you have given me a copy. Then you're showing me that you're transparent. At any time, I can always say, this is what I did with this person, and it's on record. If it's not on record, that means you are not sure. I can come up with anything. Even your landed properties, they are your record. Your birth certificate, they are your records. My passport was stolen in Dominican Republic some years ago when I was in America and I left. I went to Dominican Republic and I couldn't come back to Nigeria because I needed those documents to file, to go to the embassy and to do stuffs.
Is this a Nigerian thing, or we can broaden it and say it's an African thing? Is it specifically Nigerians that don't like keeping records?
Nigerians don't really like keeping record. I'm telling you, even the population demand in Nigeria, we don't know how many we are. They are just giving record numbers that we are not sure of. We are not sure of.
Population of Nigeria,
Yes.
say 230 million plus.
America today, I will use them as an example, not because I'm a fan, but when you get to America today, it's just that they don't want to pick you because you have not committed an offense, but they know you are in that country. It's when you have an offense, that's when you know that government know you were in this country, but they just left you to be chilling. Immediately you enter that country, as you buy your line, you are already in the system. You are already there. Somebody can just put your phone number, your name, and search you. Is that sweet? But in Nigeria, I mean, come on. But we are trying. We are trying our best. That's why auditors are saying keep proper record. And that's why I have come as well to say the generation coming need to understand the language of record keeping. because it helps. It helps you keep your finances properly, your landed property. If something happened in your family now and you go to the bank, that's when you hear stories like, you are the next of kin, but I mean, let's see the document that says this property needs to be handed over to you.
Could we like have a problem with manually storing data like information? And given that we now have it's the digital times, can we just do the switching? Would that solve our problem?
It will only solve the problem when individuals are ready to put in the work. It should like get all the data. If you don't put in those things in the data, how will you get them in there? There need to be an input.
Alrighty, let's stretch this further. I understand for an individual who is into business and, I mean, of course, for your personal needs, there's the importance of keeping the records. So, I mean, for those persons who are into governance, how can we really make them keep records, especially when they don't want to keep records? They know what they are doing, you know.
No, you can't just say you know what you're doing.
I mean, they know what they're doing as per, they know the owners of their work. I mean, they know that they don't want to keep records for a particular purpose. You just have
to keep record for every purpose.
You know, even when the records are kept, we hear sometimes after they leave office, snakes swallowed, offices got burnt. You know, all of those things.
I don't want to go into all that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make you understand where we're going. But what I'm saying is,
now in this digital era that we are, that's why you cannot just burn some records. Now, if they're out there, they're out there. And that's why most of these big people we have out there don't want people coming up on social media to say stuff, because the social media is like keeping record. It keeps history. It's part of record keeping. When I tell someone during the book launch, I actually use record Guinness World Record as a reference, and I was saying Guinness World Record, it's a platform, somebody just come up with it, and now it's big because people go in there to showcase themselves. You cannot tell me that's not what they're doing. And they have records of the tallest man for years. You go there to do those research. Those are records.
But when we say Nigerians don't like record keeping,
they don't like record keeping. They only try to showcase.
You know, in recent years, it's like mostly Nigerians that have been going for this Guinness World Record. They only like to showcase
themselves, you know. It's not because they like to keep proper record. That's why you see we have problem on and on and on and on. If we are here, sorry, I would not want to involve the president in this when they cannot even give proper record of his academic profile. I mean, come on, what kind of record are we keeping then?
They've always referred to Chicago, and, well, it was controversial at some point, but then it came out, certificates from Chicago, it came out.
When you cannot trace all those stuff.
It's controversial.
That is why you can always hear in Nigeria people going to change their date of birth. It's common here in Nigeria. You hear people saying, oh, this person, some persons know themselves.
So I like to think now that
if they are proper record, I don't think
you keeping record, and also because date of birth is recorded to a great extent, because after they give you a certificate. Do they not have database
they don't have a proper database that shows all these things in the system. You can just wake up now today, go to any court, swear an affidavit, and said you want to. Yes, you swear an affidavit and you said this is your date of birth, and you start using it. There is no record that have shown that since the day you were born, this record has been kept, and this person, Mr. John, so person, this is his name, this is his date of birth. It's there. If there is a proper record, immediately they put in your name, everything pops up. That's why you see in some country you can't use people's identity to go and work, because it's going to show you are not the person. You can do some odd jobs where they will not need your fingerprint, but immediately they use your fingerprint, your name come up, your data.
What is so hard? We have the banking sector, and they have been pretty much digitalized, and we know that if we're talking about record keeping, the banking sector does pretty well at that, no? And several other sectors, I mean, fintechs these days, record keeping is like that thing.
That's the reason.
How come we've not been able to tap into this? I mean, every other sector, especially the public service.
Don't just say the public service. That's why we have the issue in Nigeria. I'm saying individuals like to take things personal when it comes to them. You know, private organization, they don't really play with their stuff because it's private. They want to focus, they want to build, and that is what is making them to stand out. Because if I have a business, definitely I want to know what comes in and what goes out. But if it's a government office, like here now in this studio, if I'm an auditor now, I will give you guys a query, because you don't even have a template or something that shows that these are the items that belong to this particular studio.
You don't know that for sure.
Yes, because they are supposed to be recorded to show that these are.
That's
for
what I'm
this-
telling you. That I'm defending us now. We have.
I
we
can't
have
see
that.
them.
No,
They are not numbers. Your
they're not- they're not
tables, your
supposed to-
decks. There is supposed to be an inventory. When I come in, the first thing I'm supposed to see on the wall is inventory to know what you have in your studio. These are the items.
Is that something
I
you're
have-
supposed to see? We've not allowed you to audit our
I'm
firm.
not auditing you now. I'm just trying to say, as an auditor, if I'm here to do my job
yeah, it will
professionally,
be hard for you, right?
no, I will give you a query because
Okay.
you are trying to act like you want to do fraud. Anybody can come in here and go with these sites too. You understand? Because it's not carrying the number or a label showing that it is for this institute.
Okay.
So that is why I
what you're
say an
saying is it
inventory-
is important that every organization
Have an inventory.
has that inventory.
Yes. Inventory is what shows that these things belong to this particular organization, and these are the number of system we have here. These are the number of chairs we have here. These are the number of tables we
Without
have
being
in here.
numbered, is it not possible it's known? I know we have an inventory, but being numbered like
has
that,
to-
I don't quite
it
know
has to
of
be
that
on the
because
wall.
clearly I see it's
Okay,
not.
maybe your inventory is not out here for us
It's
to
not on the
see.
wall, but
Yes.
it's on a book.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. Thank God
Yeah.
you're still keeping record. At
Yeah.
least you're showing record.
No, I'm
that-
trying to defend us because you are throwing us here. So I'm not trying to allow that
I'm
happen.
just trying to give an
But it's okay,
instance
yeah, I understand.
that if Nigerians actually want to do what they want to do, the country will get better. Because some of us, I think, they know what to do, but because they don't like implying it, they don't want to put it in place, they don't want it to work. They will even put up effort to kill it. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Okay, so birth certificates, death certificates, these are important records
They
to
are.
keep. But given that as it stands now, we don't have that database, what are the practical steps we could take as citizens, as those who care for their country, to ensure that the institutions responsible for these are up to task, or to make the federal government, for instance, look more into it?
We can't drag anyone, and we can't just bring anyone to book. Like I said, these people, they are listening, they are watching, they are out there, they know what is going on. That's why people like Patience have come out to say we need to make people understand the language of record keeping the more. So the more this book goes out, reach out to people, I think a lot of people will sit out. I was so happy when I met with the Commissioner of Finance. Sorry, I'm bringing this here. And then he just glanced through the book and he was like, oh my God, I wish the youth would want to read this. I mean, I'm so proud, like somebody could pick up my book, a man well read at his age and in his position, just going through my book and telling me, baby girl, you've done so well. I was proud of myself. Seriously. So he was saying, oh my God, I wish this youth will want to go through this, want to read this. I would have loved to buy more copies from you. He ordered a lot of copies, which I don't have them here. I'm going to send them over from Abuja. But he said he wished because the book is good. So if the government is supporting people that are writing, a lot of authors that could come up with things like this, I mean, it will help because the information will go viral. It's not just talking about makeup, TikTok and all. Other things need to go viral too. But people don't like promoting things like this. Obviously, I'm not showcasing something sexy. So why would they want to promote it?
Okay, well, we're here to promote it. When you say
You
people
can
don't
say-
like to,
Yeah, really.
we
a
are
lot
part of people in Nigeria now.
That
so
is why
this
I'm
is
proud that your studio
no,
could actually
good
recognize
thing. So
me.
let me use and cover my face so they will see it properly. But well, record keeping fundamentals, and there is some sort of rider securing your legacy in Nigeria's tax era, and I want to narrow in on this particular rider now. It seems as though this ties into all of the stories we've had about, taxation and what's really coming up. Record keeping fundamentals, securing your legacy in Nigeria's tax era. Are we doing this record keeping just so we can be able to pay our taxes? Is that
No.
the importance of it?
No,
I
no.
just want this to
Yes.
be better.
Yes,
Explain
the
that.
record keeping in this tax era is not saying because it's a tax era per se, in quote. Now, that is why we talked about the principle. What is record keeping? We mentioned the example. So this is a guideline. It's what will help you so that you don't have difficulties. Even when you're hearing, you don't need to panic that, oh, this is tax this, so this is going to be happening. No. But when you follow this guideline, when you follow this book, you understand the language of what they are saying. You
Okay.
understand what they are saying.
Okay, you understand what the Nigerian tax system
yes,
is
it's
all
talking
and
about.
exactly what
And the book is not basically a tax book. It's not, because when I say record keeping fundamental, people say, oh, she's an accountant, it's like bookkeeping. No, my book is a social and academic book. It's social in the aspect we talked about passport, we talked about landed properties, we talk about birth certificate, we talk about every other thing, and still we still have basics of accounting, how you could manage your record keeping and all that.
Okay, we could talk about passports a little more. I know that the Minister of Interior, and particularly this Minister of Interior, Labunji, I'm trying to get his name correctly now, but yeah, the current Minister of Interior has somehow digitalized the whole process.
Oh my God! Don't even bring me into that.
No, I want to. I
had a big problem with that. Actually, when I'm gonna say this here on air. When I was in Dominican Republic, when I lost my passport, I reached out because
Dominican is also like Nigeria.
It's an island. Yeah, it's beautiful and they are cool people.
Is it a third world country too? Right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, third world country.
Yeah, so
please don't tell us they are better than us.
They have lights.
I thought that, okay, I would not.
They have lights.
No, we have lights.
They actually generate their light from water energy.
And
because
we have a lot
it's
of
an
that in
island. Yeah, so I was thinking, I mean, Nigeria would have come partner with these people, know what is going on. This water covering everywhere, Niger Delta, down to Kogi, Port Harcourt. I mean, everywhere there will be light.
Okay.
In Dominican, they don't. If they take light, it will not be up to 45 minutes.
Well, I guess
their drinks are so chill, like chill. Anyway, I will not talk about that because that's not why I'm here.
The passports and the Minister of Interior, I think you wanted to scale. What are the challenges you might have noticed in all of its operations?
Getting a passport when you're outside Nigeria, especially in Dominica, my personal experience, it was difficult because there's no Nigerian embassy in Dominican Republic. So the closest one I could reach out to was Jamaica. And then Jamaica said they are not issuing out passport, that they will give me an e-ticket to go back to my country. And I'm like, I don't want to feel people feeling like I was deported. No. So I really wanted a passport because I wanted to get my visa back and all that. It was difficult. And then I was told that a lot of people buy passports from Nigeria that are non-Nigerians. So it was difficult getting the passport. So I would like to advise that Nigerian government should look into things like this.
But getting a Nigerian passport is much better than it was a few years back. Olabunji, 2G.
The online stuff is not working. I paid the money. Till today, the money was not refunded. Online, I could show you the app on my phone where you go on immigration website online. I paid the money, and at the end of the day, I was not able to get the passport. But they say it's contactless. That was what it was. It was captured to get a contactless passport. You can get your passport anywhere. It didn't work. I don't know if it's working perfectly right now because that was like last year, May last year. I was in Dominican Republic for over 7 months running bills on my own after I was robbed. So I would definitely tell you it's a no, it's not working.
Okay. Our sympathies.
Thank you.
I heard you mention robbed, and it's a very, very sad experience, and no one should experience.
But Dominicans were nice, so I had so much fun. It's just that I needed the money to be flexing, but there was no much
I like to think that even if it's a third world country, it's you mentioned lights, and I'm sure that they also have water running in their house.
And I know you will like beautiful girls.
No, that's something that we will discuss after the program.
I mean, vacation there is not a bad one.
Yes, please. So I want to get into the content of this. What are people looking out for? I'd like you to state this clearly again, what people are looking out for. What are the things, the major areas we are looking out for when we purchase this book?
I want to say, when anybody that wants to purchase the book, you should just come with an open mind, because sometimes it's not by buying a book or just getting a book. You have to have it in mind that as I want to pick up this book, I want to read in the book in lines and understand it. If you pick up a book and you read it and you don't understand, you don't get the message. It's just like going through a paragraph. But the book is very simple, and I know that anybody that picks the book will understand it. And I just made it very simple and clear that anybody that picks this book, you have to go with something. There is no way you read this book that you will not go with something.
You know, when you
and your mindset will change about record keeping. You just want to sit up and say, oh my God, I never knew this could help. I never knew. I wish somebody would have come up with it. I wish I have known this for long.
You know when you mentioned the record, when you mentioned the Commissioner for Finance, Max Olibibai, I believe. Yeah. He talked about youths, him wishing the youths would love this. And there is something they say, is it a Nigerian or an African thing? If you keep money inside of a book, or if you keep a jewel inside of a book, that Nigerians are never finding it.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, exactly. So, have you written this book for youths, or is it people that are? Is it Gen Z like book? Is it for millennials, or is it those who are already adults? And
The book is for everybody.
because
But not
while
just-
it's a Nigerian thing to not really read books, it's a Gen Z thing to not even try and notice the book.
The Gen Z, that is why we are trying to, everything has to go online too for them to be able to, you know. But I believe this Gen Z too, they want to grow. Everybody wants a better life. Everybody will want to know how to secure what they have worked for. Even if you're on TikTok dancing and you're making so much money, you will not want somebody to come and tell you one day that your own money just went, or one bank somewhere just woke up and declared what you have, or maybe every day you're seeing deduction and you don't know how your money has been deducted. You don't know what you purchased. You just spend money. No, that's why even in your phone, whenever you spend any money or money is withdrawn, they send you an alert
You're
immediately.
speaking to me. You're speaking to
Yes,
me.
I
You're
send you
speaking
those
to me.
alerts. You go sometime, you check your bank statement, you see these things because they are important. These people already know what record keeping is. At the airport, you buy a ticket you want to board. Before you get to the airport, they already have your details there. When you come, you're showing them, I'm going to Lagos, I'm not going to Abuja. Your name is in the system. Your name is even there on the flight you're going with and the time. That's to tell you, there are maybe that day they have like 5 flights leaving Bayelsa to Port Harcourt or Bayelsa to Lagos, and then your name is not in that morning flight, except you go and talk to them there. You don't just go there and board the morning flight because you bought a ticket. That they understand what record keeping is.
Okay, when people try to keep records and all of the information, what would you say are certain common mistakes that they could make? You know, institutions and business people.
I will say it and say it over and over, is lack of internal control. When the foundation is not solid, there will be problem.
What's that internal control and foundation? It seems that there is a generic thing. I'd like for you to expound on it so we would understand.
If you have an organization and the people working under you don't understand what it is, how will they be able to deliver? How will you deliver? How will you give out what you don't know? Or when you come to a place, you know, but you know this is the system you meet on ground. There are some people that will tell you, wait for your time. Don't come and show yourself here. It's not like this person don't know it, but because you feel you are the boss, you don't allow this person to shine. That is where we are.
Okay, let's
Allow people.
contextualize a bit. I want to start keeping records.
Okay.
I've already started. What are those mistakes you think I could be doing that I don't even know I'm doing these mistakes, you know, in trying to keep record? I had mentioned the youths and Gen Zs. I want for us to talk in a way that they would understand. They would see what we are saying. And also think of it as something they should try. I mean, record keeping. Yes.
Yes, if you want to bring the Gen Z in, I want to say, as a Gen Z, like I said, we all spend money. We buy things day in, day out. So you can't just say because you're a Gen Z body, you have 1 million naira, you just want to burn it. If you don't keep this record, I still go back. If you don't keep a proper record, you don't do check. You don't check and balance. You're not going anywhere. Or you just keep blowing.
What are the drawbacks with not keeping record?
If you don't keep record, then you're failing now. You have to keep record.
Failing is rather generic. I want to know specifically, what are we doing if we don't keep records?
If you don't keep record, you're failing. That's what I'm saying.
Because
you have to keep record.
For a typical Nigerian now, I'm
You
not
have
sure
to
that,
keep
you know,
record.
they say something around the Nigerian tax stuff that it is, in short, if you keep the record, then you'll be taxed more.
No. You have to keep the record. You identify. You are open. That is, people should not be afraid saying, I don't want to keep record because you'll be taxed, or because if there is a problem tomorrow they will trace me. No, that's because you don't want to show that your transparency is
That's
important to
criminal.
me.
You having criminal tendencies.
Maybe you have that kind of mindset or something. Because I mean, if you're
Not me,
open,
Sha, not
I
me.
mean, whoever wants to do
Yeah,
that
I
kind
know,
of
I know.
thing. I'm not saying you in person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I get that totally. I just had to throw it in. But yeah, risks and consequences is that you would likely fail in your business. You have mentioned that because, well, you decide not to keep.
Also, I think life without record keeping is boring because, I mean, if you're not keeping record, what are you doing, bro?
Okay.
Even your life as it is, when you started nursery school till now, you've been keeping records of your primary school, secondary school. It's a process of, it's your life. It's a process. You growing up
There's
till
some
this
persons
time.
who are not exactly very, they don't do well with the nostalgic feelings, and when they see some of these photos, it gives them some sort of feeling, and they don't want to. But I mean,
don't want
that's
to go back.
that's not the
But it's the
accounting part of
process.
it
You
now.
can't take it
I mean,
out.
record keeping, generally speaking, now when it has to you do you taking photos, you did a graduation, you took photos, you did your child dedication, you took photos. Sometimes, I don't know, some persons think that there are memories associated with this time that they would not want to go back.
Maybe the bad memories, but they are still record. Bad or good. That is why they do documentary. Way back, people still do documentary because it's still a way of record keeping. They are trying to project the past and the present. That's what documentary does.
Okay, it's good to know. Fundamentals, record keeping fundamentals, securing your legacy in Nigeria's tax era. If you're just now clicking on the watch link, I have as guest Patience Doye Odele. And on this episode of Chat with Naija Live TV, we are discussing, like I mentioned, record keeping fundamentals, securing your legacy in Nigeria's tax era. Patience Doye Odele is an author who is also one who runs runways, or walks runways, yeah? He's a model and also has that thing for African clothing particularly. But yeah, let's narrow in further into the conversation around record keeping and the fundamentals of record keeping. We'd like you to scale again. What do you think that organizations, I had asked this question before, public institutions, the civil service in Bayelsa, they are one people that you might likely say that even if they keep records, it is hard for you to get to it, especially when you're looking to, if you go to FMC, you go to, what is it called now, NDUTH, you go to any of the public institutions. Now the records might be there, but digging into the records, many would say, is a problem. And so it feels as though the information is lost in data that is not properly categorized. How do you think digital record keeping ties into this? You think that Nigeria, do you think Nigeria, or Bayelsa for instance, is ready, particularly where we have problems with electric power supply? You know, it's a thing around Nigeria, we don't have proper power supply, and when we say these things need light, but hey, do you think that we are ready to do this, given that there is a challenge already with you going to the hospital and before, I mean, you're sick, before they find your file, it's a problem? Do you think it's something we can immediately start embracing and...
You know, everything has a process. Even pregnancy has a process. You don't just get pregnant today and give birth to a child. You have to nurture the pregnancy, face all the challenges the pregnancy will bring, because pregnancy comes in different styles. Your first child and your second child, the pregnancy symptom might not be the same. So in that aspect, I will not be able to give out proper information guiding how the country is going to help this, but I know that it's a process. If they put in proper process, follow the proper guideline, we will get it in the future. I'm not saying it's something they can get now, because it's not something just one person can just do, but when the proper plans are being put in place, we'll get there.
Okay. What vital registries do you think that it's absolutely necessary for we to start keeping? I mean, you had mentioned birth certificates and death certificates. Are there others that you think it's absolutely necessary that the country or the state start keeping?
Yes, landed properties too. Why I bring in landed properties, like I mentioned, if you have a problem, probably somebody passed away, and then you start having family coming to fight the wife or to fight the siblings. If these things are kept well recorded, I don't think somebody would just come in and say, and that house that belongs to my father in Port Harcourt belongs to them. I mean, come on.
These things also undergo wear and tear, you know, and ours is a state that from time to time we hear the flooding. You know, the person, they try to survive, flood don't come, you're trying to dodge for your life, and you're also trying to protect your property. Are there ways we could go around this?
I'm not a flood expert, so I don't really know what to say.
Would we rather start doing digital record keeping?
It is.
As in,
it's
taking digital record keeping to be much more important than you having a physical document. So in lieu of you signing physically, you sign digitally and you store it somewhere, a cloud database that you are certain that if you go there in 2090, you would get the
Yes, most
information.
agencies are doing that now. Like in my office now, they keep telling you everybody needs to go into IT audit. So even the head of service herself is trying. When I went to invite her for my book launch, she was like, no, you don't need to bring a hard copy to me. You need to go online, send it online. So I think I will talk about the civil service. The civil service is working towards that. And I know most agencies were doing this. They picked up during the COVID. So most of the organizations, that's why you find out most people can tell you, I'm working from home now, I'm doing this from home, I'm doing that from home. So it's something the country can do. If COVID could come and people were able to sort out their organizations, I mean, to work from home, that's to tell you the digital system is coming to stay. Even before the digital system, people have been keeping strong record in some other strong way. That's where you see people saying, I have backup stuffs. Like you working here now, you know, you people have some, I don't know what it's called, but we people use it to have a lot of movies. Back then in school, a lot of people have it. They have like, it's a backup stuff when you have,
drive and has
yes.
disk.
So those are stuff that you can still go back and go through it. All those flash, all those stuff are stuff that we were using to keep records growing up. So now they have modelized way of keeping records too, and I think most agencies should invest in that.
Okay. Writing record-keeping fundamentals must have been very challenging for you. Could you walk us through it? What are some of the challenges you must have experienced, in trying to bring this book to fruition?
Financial challenge. You know, there's anytime most people have dreams, but they don't utilize this dream because there is no support. They don't have, I want to start this business, I want to do this, I want to do that, but there's no support. But in my own case, like I said, when I have a problem that in Dominican Republic, I thought of writing a book. It has been in my head, but I never knew that I was going to write anything on record keeping, sincerely. So there was a day I was just in my washroom, and then the Holy Spirit actually dropped this word. If you ask my friends now, they'll tell you I'm this nonchalant person that they never thought I'll have a book. Because I'm not this kind of person, book kind of person. Even my professor in school be surprised.
This is you keeping your own record.
Yes. So it was when that incident occurred, and then I was in my washroom, and this inspiration come, Patience, why don't you pen down something on record keeping? And I'm like, record keeping, how, where? And you're like, you've worked in this office for over 12, 13 years. If you cannot put on something, I mean, what are you now doing? And then I always remember in my head, I don't forget stuff easily. Like growing up, if my dad is trying to find an information, he comes to me. So I'm like, if my head can be keeping so much record, I mean, there should be a book called Record Keeping Fundamentals. That is how I gave birth to this lovely book here.
Oh, that's really good to know. So for that person who's really looking to get into your book and get into the meat of what you're saying in your book, what's your advice to them? I mean, say this as we wrap up.
I know this book is blessed. It's not just a book. Like I said, pick this book. Anywhere you find this book, just read it. Even in my hotel, I actually gave one to someone in the reception. And one of the colleagues came to beg me like, oh my God, I just picked this book and I just read just few lines of this book. And I found it interesting. That can I just have? I'm like, it's okay, say, but I don't have money to pay because actually a copy of this book is 20,000 naira. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll give you one. For you to even show me the interest that you read it and you love the book. It's a book you will love. It's a book that will educate people. It's a book that will improve your thinking. It's a book that will just make you grow, just change your mindset. It will change anybody's mindset that pick up this book.
Can one buy the copy of the book, I mean, in Bielsa, or would have to order it?
So many people have been ordering the book, not just here, even in Benue State and also in Naija State.
So you typically have to order it, not buy. It's not available in none of the bookshops around town.
No, not yet. Yet. The book, we just launched the book, and I've been busy with my own assignment. Like I said, I'm an auditor. I'm in international audit department, so we've been auditing VCDP for a long time. Sorry, I'm bringing that here. That's my personal work stuff. I'm not supposed to say that here, but I've been so busy, so.
Okay. So what's the process of ordering like now? How does one get this book? Because it's already of interest to me, and I feel like I want to order. But hey,
no, but you have one. You have a copy already. But anybody that wants to order,
copy,
of course,
okay.
You have a copy. Why not?
Okay.
Am I that stingy? It's part of record keeping.
I mean, it's business, But thank you.
No,
so much.
it is business. But I mean, we are here. We're doing it together. So if there's anything I should leave with you, is to show you.
I know the book is really of interest.
Thank
from
you.
the things you've said, I really want to dig into it. But yeah. What are the ways to order? Is there like a link? Is it like a number to call?
Yes, it's a number to call for now, and I
Okay.
think there is a link, but I don't think I have the link now
Yeah.
because I have someone managing me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not big yet, but I mean I have a manager.
Yeah, typically, of course. So you can make proper sales and all of those things. But
Yeah.
yeah, you maybe you want to leave out the number.
Okay, I can do
please.
that.
Just leave out the number online. So we'll do it 2 times, and subsequently we'll display it on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
The number to get this book, this lovely. Can you just hold the piece?
Yes, please.
for them
I
see?
can.
Oh, thank you so much. The number to get this beautiful piece here, 080 3892 4805. I'll take that again. 080 3892 4805. And if you're ordering this book, it comes with a gift from me, the author. Yeah,
From
special gift.
Heart to you, you
Mhm.
know. Alrighty. Patience Doye Odele, Madam Patience Doye Odele. It's been good to have you. CNA. We didn't add that part earlier, but yeah, it's good
It's
It's really good to
okay.
have you.
Thank you.
Do justice to this very conversation. And here's also me saying that it's important to get this book, record keeping fundamentals, because as she says, anyways, in Nigeria, one of the most expensive problems is also one of the least recognized: the absence of proper records. You don't want to be caught not keeping records. My name is Henry Moifula. It's been Chat with Naija Live TV, and I've had Patience Doye Odele. Madam, please. Thank you plenty. See you on another edition of Chat with Naija Live TV.
Bayelsa State, home of peace, yo. We are for the peace. All love for peace.
Dear esteemed community leaders and people of Bayelsa State, The Doiduri-led prosperity government is committed to transforming our rural communities into thriving hubs of development. We believe that every community deserves access to absolute peace and quality standard of living. To actualize this vision, we need your support and partnership. Join forces with us to improve rural infrastructure, enhance quality education, boost healthcare, and foster economic growth. Together, we can create opportunities for youth empowerment and employment, promote cultural heritage, and ensure food security and strengthen community social services. How you can support: participate in community engagement forums and collaborate with local government authorities and the Ministry of Community Development. Come, let's build a prosperous Bayelsa together.
Let there be peace, all for peace.
Courtesy, Honorable Alfred Belamonte Watson, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Community Development. The impacts of climate change are upon us, necessitating adaptation and resilient building. In Bayelsa State, the recent annual rainy season has...
Hi there, a jolly good day to you. Thank you plenty for staying with us on Chat with Naija Live TV, our flagship program where we discuss with important personalities, we discuss issues of importance to society. Today we turn our attention to something that isn't quite spoken of, not really frequently spoken of. We turn our attention to people who are not exactly really included in society, people who there's been the agitation for them to be included in society, children with special needs. We discuss the role of parents, we discuss the role of the government, teachers, in helping these children in society. I'm joined this afternoon by someone who is an advocate for special needs inclusion, including children with special needs in society, and every other thing that we have to do. She is a lawyer, a special needs educator, therapist, and advocate for inclusive education. She is committed to supporting children with autism, ADHD, Down syndrome, dyslexia, speech delays, and other developmental needs through therapy, parent coaching, teacher training, and community awareness. That's a lot, but hopefully she's going to break these down and scale them for us. My name is Henry Ahamuefula, and I'm joined this episode of Chat with Naija Live TV by Brenda Nabere, the founder and chief executive officer of Bremon Educational Consult Limited. It's really good to have you. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're really welcome. Let's begin with you talking to us about special needs. There's a lot of things I mentioned: dyslexia, autism. Can you please scale special needs? What it means? I like to think there are not many parents who really understand what that means, or even know to identify if their children, have that.
Okay, so special needs has to do with a different kind of learning, a learning difference. It could be intellectual, could be physical. In the sense that intellectual has to do with the brain, physical has to do with, you see it, maybe the blind, the people that are on the wheelchair, and then we have the neurological one, which is, it has to do with the brain, like I said earlier, children with autism, dyslexia, Down syndrome, okay, and a lot of other disabilities, a lot that people don't know. The ones people know are mainly the physical ones, okay, but we have... They're all termed under the term special needs, right. Yes. So I could break each of them down if you want me to do that.
I think we could allow for that. Autism, okay. What does that entail? How do we identify people who live with autism or children who live with autism? Do we outgrow it? Do people outgrow autism? Or you'd be autistic and that's a lifetime thing?
Autism is a lifelong condition, okay? Of course, in Africa, in this part of the world, we believe miracles happen. Yes, it could happen, but it's a lifelong condition. Whoever has autism has it for life, but can it be managed? Now, what is autism? Autism is a neurological condition that affects the way a person interacts with people, okay? People with autism can have what's it called now? They don't like new spaces. They don't like interacting with people. Yes, they have short attention span. All right, some of them have delayed speech. Okay, so we usually tend to encourage parents that if you see that your child at the age of 1 year, 3 months, 4 months, 5 to 2 years, you see the child is supposed to be blabbing, you see the child having a short attention span, can't give you eye contact, supposed to say some first words, but they are not saying all those words, right? The child tends to be a bit different from what you expect. We tend to encourage parents to go seek medical help, seek professional who can assess the child. Okay, and we also have what we call attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is ADHD. Yes,
I feel as though when you mentioned short attention span,
yes,
that ties into
yes,
ADHD.
they kind of want to relate, but they are very different. Yes, there are some children that will have autism and have ADHD. Yes, together, while some just have ADHD. ADHD has to do with impulsivity and attention. They get easily distracted. Okay, you tell your child to sit down, the child is jumping up. The child is in the classroom, the teacher is teaching, and the child is up and about doing. But that does not mean, even autism and ADHD doesn't mean the child is can't reason or the child is not smart. They are usually very, very smart.
Oh, really?
Yes, but it's just for us as teachers and parents to find out the best ways to work with these children.
They are usually very smart.
Yes.
But it seems as though the brain does not process information as...
The brain processes information differently. Yes.
Differently.
They have people with
Is it
autism.
much more, slower than the regular...
Sometimes it could be very fast for some. It could be very fast, yes. You can have a child with autism telling you what happened. You ask a question in maths. Maybe the child has not even studied maths. I've not even started school, so to say. You ask a question in maths and this child will just tell you the answers. A child with autism will tell you a date. You just tell the child, what's the 23rd of July, 1901? The child will tell you, if it's a Monday, the child will be able to tell you that it's Monday. You and I can't do that. That's a special gift.
Okay, so children who have certain special gifts can also be said to have autism.
Yes.
Even when they act like regular people,
yes,
they relate to you, and maybe they also would they don't mind the interaction with people.
Yes, there are some people with autism that can lead normal life. Yes, you can't tell.
But then they are just faster,
yes, they are smarter. They have special interests. There are a lot of celebrities who are on the spectrum. I don't know if I can mention names. Like Einstein, for example. Even Bill Gates, Albert Einstein. Yes, even Bill Gates. Okay, a few of them like
Bill
that.
Gates is also on the spectrum.
They are on the spectrum. Why we call it a spectrum? Why we call it a spectrum? Because everybody manifests at different levels. Just like you and I, no two persons are the same. Not even two identical twins are the same. We reason differently. So for Einstein, for example, he did a lot of theories, and even for this Picasso, when it comes to painting and that, a lot of autistic children are like that. They are specially gifted. And the recent one in Nigeria, Tagbo, yes, he's a child with autism. He's non-verbal, which means he's non-talking, right? But he has a special interest in art. He's the one, last year, he won the Guinness Book of Records for the largest painting on canvas in Abuja.
Oh, really?
Just this year, he broke another record riding from, I think, Enugu all the way to Lagos on a bicycle. Once they have special interest, for example, one easy way to recognize them is they like arranging things. They don't like things being untidy. So sometimes you might have a colleague in your office, right, that just like things being in a particular way. Oh, these things are color-coded. I want this thing to be here because it's color green. It's supposed to be with the color green. Or you see children lining up toys. Those are all telltale signs. You see kids walking on their toes.
Well,
tippy toes.
Your explanation this afternoon is leading me to believe that there are people who might be living with autism in our society that we might just dismiss as regular people.
Yes.
So, at the office space, one who likes to keep things orderly and complains whenever he comes around and says, you all are not keeping this thing away. So that could actually be something autistic.
It could be autism. It could be obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Yes. But because in this climb, right, especially in Bayelsa State, when I came here, it was like new to a lot of persons. You could so many people like that. Is when you get close to them. Sometimes I walk past some children, some young people on the streets, sick. I know some of them might be due to drugs, but I look at some. You know, there was once I met a girl at Pansha Market Road. You know, because of what I do, I tend to talk to everybody, anybody. The person might be very sick, but I want to know, why is this person sick? By sick, I mean this people we call MAD on the streets.
Already?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'll see young people like that, and I met that girl on the streets, Pansha Market. I stopped her. I started talking to her. It was like people stood and was looking at me. Just came back from church. I saw the young girl. I said, this girl, it could just be autism, but because the parents can't handle it. A lot of children are on the street like that.
So many persons we call, well, mad.
Mad,
not
yes,
exactly
they could
really
be
mad.
True, yes. But because the parents, the family can't handle it, they just feel this child is not acting normal. This child is crazy, so they let the child out. A lot of parents have come to my center. In fact, there was once a lady came and told me she was going to unalive her child because she's embarrassed. So for the people that can't keep, and sometimes autism, you know, this neurological condition can be quite funny, that the people that have got it can't control themselves. They could be aggressive. Yes, I've had kids punch me, scratch me. You know, imagine that happening. They throw things at people when they are overwhelmed because the environment does not understand them.
Okay, now, you're one who's really stayed with cases of this nature. You're not exactly a doctor.
Yes, I'm not.
You're in fact a lawyer.
Yes.
But one would want to understand what causes this, if it's something that parents would have to avoid. Is it something that parents would know and during the process of birth they avoid it, or it just happens?
Well, for autism, right, there's no known cause. Okay, science is still working. You know, they tend to link it to genetics, and most recently, because of the awareness, a lot of people are now coming out. Right, there's a bit of acceptance coming into play. A lot of the awareness going on is bringing it to limelight. So we tend to see a lot of children with autism. You know, it's not caused by bad parenting. It's not caused by what a mother did while she was pregnant. It's not caused by village people, as they say. You know, a lot of persons come to me and tell me, oh, this thing is spiritual. My child was okay before, you know, and now the child is not talking. I'm sure those signs were there. So once they come to me, the first thing I do is to refer them to the doctor. Let the doctor do their medical test and whatever. Then they refer them back to me for assessment. I assess them and then let the doctors know this is what I found. They merge it to what they have, you know, assessed as well, and then come up with the diagnosis. I don't diagnose. I leave that to the medical professionals. Yes. Yeah. But I can assess. I can tell if a child has autism, dyslexia, ADHD, and what have you.
That's the next term, dyslexia. That's
Yes.
like something that means one not being able to read or properly.
Yes.
Skill for us now.
Yes.
How does that manifest?
Dyslexia is a condition that that enables a child, or should I use the word enable now? Someone with dyslexia would find it difficult to read, but they can speak. They are very smart, you know. But they find it difficult to put whatever they've said to words. So someone might be very good orator. A child will tell you all the poem, all the stories in the world. But when you tell this child to write it down, the words start getting confused, you know, where a child will write D instead of B, or P in place of B, you know, like that, confusing the words. It's the difficulty in reading and writing. There is also dysgraphia, which has to do with the writing part of it, just writing. They find it difficult to write. So I encourage schools, right, inclusion. One reason why I accepted to come here is because I've been trying to do this inclusive awareness thing. I've been going to schools, talking to schools, because I don't want any school to reject any child, because there are policies in place. Right now, back to dyslexia. A child understands, can say everything, but when it comes to writing now, it's not left for the schools to find ways to assess these children. A lot of times parents say, oh, my child failed. And when the child comes to me, I'm looking at this child is very smart. How come this child failed? All the questions I ask the child can respond to them using their words. Now it's left for the schools to have oral exams for these children. You know, everybody is not the same. I go back to that word.
So you run a foundation, and the foundation is aimed at giving these children a chance at, you know, learning the right way, the way that suits them. But it seems as though well, clearly and evidently, this is not something that government and other well-meaning individuals are really paying attention to. Some of these things you've discussed here are things that, from your explanation, are manifest in our society and evident in our society. How do we bring the government to really be serious with this? And how do we bring educational institutions to really know that if you're setting up an institution, you should not just set up the institution, you should also know to set up a special needs segment or sector to cater for the needs of children who are very likely different. Now, it seems as though if you have 100% of students, for instance, 100 students, maybe 20-30% of them are special needs children. With what you've explained, there are several ways it manifests now.
Yes.
So that means that there is need for every educational institution out there to be making provisions for these children.
I agree. You know, there are policies, right? There are laws, you know, from the federal level to the state level. And the one that really excites me, if there's anything that have really touched my heart about this Governor Doyediri's tenure, is the fact that in March, he created the disability rights law in Bayelsa State, which makes us one of the few states.
So that covers the special needs?
Yes, it covers disability, you know, whether intellectual or physical or, do you understand? Now,
so we're discussing here also that these children are rather smart in a certain way. So while we think that they are disabled, there are other ways where they are not like the regular, I don't even want to say regular, they're probably regular in their own right.
See, I call all of them, you know, able, right? They are just differently abled.
Differently able. So
if you put the signpost for them, if teachers are trained, right? These policies are there, but they are not being enforced to the letter.
You know why I asked that question? Because it's very possible that attention is not given to the ones with special needs, and then it's rather given to those persons who don't have complete legs.
Yes, the physically disabled ones.
They are likely to give attention to them.
Yes,
in lieu of also including those with special needs. If that be the case, would we not need much more policies and much more legal frameworks to enable to focus on special needs? You talk about policies and legal framework across Nigeria, but I'm struggling.
When it comes to practice, that's where nothing is being done, and that's why people like us are coming out, trying to make sure our voices are heard. That's why when I was called upon, I said, okay, that's another opportunity for me to come talk to
sensitization,
people, right? Yes. Now, all those policies are in place. Is enforcement. I would be so happy if the government, having made these laws, can follow it through, make sure teachers in public and private schools are trained. Because there are some schools I go to.
All teachers, is it that all teachers have to be trained, or we have specific teachers?
I would rather every teacher is aware.
That's
they
easier.
All be trained. Yes, it makes.
So when you identify that, you now know.
Yes, then we should have special teachers in the class that will attend to them, because the general classroom teacher might be overwhelmed.
No, I understand.
But yes.
Special teachers in school who would attend to those.
Every school should have a special education classroom where these children go in there to learn and then bring them back to the regular class, because see, they need to interact with other children. That brings in empathy. The other children are learning from them, they are also learning from them. You know, that helps. Even a child that wasn't talking before, you see them interacting with other children, and before you know, the words keep coming out. So all hands must be on deck, the children, the teachers, all right? Every school, from the security. I trained a school last year towards the beginning of this session that is about to end, you know, and I was so amazed because that school made sure every teacher, the security, the janitors, everybody came for that training, you know, and they had to, the school subsidized it, but the teachers had to pay for it. Some of them were not happy, but at the end of the training, they were all very excited that, oh, you know, so if a child is in the classroom, maybe a child with autism is overwhelmed, either due to these bright lights, you know, in the classroom, maybe the noise, you know, whatever it is, it could be a smell, and the child is overwhelmed. This child has what we call meltdown, and the child runs out of the class. The security man shouldn't be at his post just watching. If the security man is trained and he recognizes, oh, this child, he knows what to do. Do you understand? So he's not left for just the special need teachers. Everyone in the school knows what to do, whether you're a secretary, provided you're in the school environment. You know, everybody should be aware.
I think I am
particularly, I know about special needs, but with this enlightenment, myself, I actually know better now. It seems as though I have to not be careful with people I meet when it behave in certain ways. I just know, there's a likelihood that this person, so please calm down. And like you've explained here, when they want to do things, if they're angry, for instance, they could do it to the extreme of it.
It could be the extreme, it could be...
Do it to the extreme of it.
Yeah.
Well, when we try to cater for them, do we cater for them in looking for a solution or a cure for their condition, or it's just that we manage them until they now know how to act around people?
There is no cure that I know of for now. You know, we're hoping that there's going to be a cure.
You're particularly concerned with teaching them?
Yes, so
to
now
know
what
better,
we do,
or to know...
what we do is to put all the necessary things in place so they learn, so they can lead a normal life. Okay. I have some grown-up children at my center that will come at the beginning with diapers, and then we're like, how can this child be this age and still wearing diapers? Because the parents are overwhelmed. They don't know how best to help the child, and then we take up the child to that level where the child is able to feed themselves, the child is able to, do things for themselves. So that's what we advocate.
At what point should the parents, know to observe this? Is it when the child is 5-6 months, when they are like 1 year, that they should now know to observe and look out for signs of autism? So, are all parents, is it normal that all parents start looking out for signs of autism, of their children being special needs, dyslexia? I mean, that's until when they're like 2, I think, or 3, when they start reading or something, right? But special needs, to look out for the signs of a child being of a special need, what point should the parent start looking out for that?
Well, I wouldn't say parents should look out for it. In this part of the world, if you use those words, it's like you're trying to already play a curse on your child. Look out for this sign. Oh, the child is twitching. Are you sure it's not this, it's not that? Right? I would rather say keep it natural. Watch your child. There are milestones that the child is supposed to have achieved at a certain age. Okay. From 1 month, there are milestones. What can a child of 1 month do? 2 months, what can a child of 2 months do? And once you notice that the child is not doing all of that, say at one month or maybe 2 months old, the child is not able to lift their head up. I'm going towards cerebral palsy now, which is also part of special needs. Yes.
Yeah.
The child is supposed to be blabbing. There are some children that as early as 8 months, they can say a few words. They can do 2-word sentences. Water, me, water, drink water. Like that. It might not be very, very clear. But once you see your child is getting to at least 4 or 5 months, the child should be saying, Mama, Dada. And your child is not doing any of that. I'm not saying that's autism or whatever, but you should take your child to seek help. Go see the doctor. What's going on? I noticed my child is 1 month is not even following my fingers. These days, newborn babies, I remember my kids, as soon as they are out, one of the things the doctor is looking out for is with the finger. And these ones, they look. It's not like in those days where when we were born, where our parents, the eyes are not open. It's after 6-7 days that the eyes will be open. Now children will come out of there and open their eyes. And you have a baby and your child is not following the light. Not like they can see per se, but they can tell if something, and your eyes the child's eyes are not following that. A sound is made and the child is not twitching, Those are, you should be concerned. So watch out for all the developmental milestones. If anyone is missing, seek help.
Okay, so
it's better you do that. That way you find solutions early, because we usually advocate for early intervention. Whatever disease you have, if you find cure for it or you find help for it, you live better.
So in lieu of showing the paranoia, it's much better that you calm down and just observe the developmental signs that a 1 month, 2 months, 3 months old baby ought to have that they do not have. That's really good to know. Let's talk about what I like to think might be the cause, but I'll just have you talk around it. Maybe we missed it earlier. There are many persons who believe, medical experts who believe, professionals believe that genetic mutation could be responsible for conditions of this nature. Is it possible that for the autism and especially children who are born in certain ways where maybe they don't have, maybe a limb is not complete or something, and they act in certain ways. Is it a possibility that mutation could have caused this? I mean, in that case, could we advise parents or people women who are pregnant to stay away from certain things? There was a certain time doctors were saying something around staying away from radiation. And even scans you do when you
often
get pregnant, when you're pregnant, could actually affect the baby.
I wouldn't say scans we do when we get pregnant, because the
It
doctors
has
know
some sort of
when to do
radiation
it.
or something.
Yes, they tend
Okay.
to. Like I remember when I was pregnant with my first son, I didn't know I was pregnant, and I needed to go to law school. So when we went to see the doctor, they need your medical report to go to law school. So we went to see the doctor to get the report, and the doctor said you need to do a pregnancy test. And I looked at my husband. My husband looked at me like, pregnancy test where? She's not pregnant. He said, well, it's routine because you're going to go do X-ray as part of the requirements. I said, okay. They gave me the thing. I went to do it, and then they came back, and the doctor said, oh, you guys are pregnant. Now we looked at ourselves and said, no, we are not pregnant. I'm not sure. He said, madam, this is what it says. I'm going to give you guys 2 weeks. Come back in 2 weeks. We'll do the test again and see what happens. We came back and he still said the same thing. He said, madam, I'm sorry, you can't do X-ray, but we're going to do a report for you telling you why you're not able to do the reports. You're not able to do the X-ray. Yes. So there are some certain things.
That doctor knows.
Yes.
Knows to not do it because you were pregnant and it was early.
Yes, it was early.
So you don't do scans very early. Is that
no?
case?
It was X-ray, not scan.
X-ray.
Yes. It was X-ray. When that doctor said we should go do the test for pregnancy, we did it, and we're like, I don't think we're pregnant. He said no. He asked me to lie down, and he checked using his I've forgotten that mobile scanning thing that doctors use. He used that and said, madam, I can't see any baby, but the test says you're pregnant. Okay, so come back in 2 weeks. Went back in 2 weeks, checked, still couldn't see. He now sent me to a bigger diagnostic place where they could check very well. They checked and they still couldn't see. But he said, you know what, you're not going to do X-ray because it says, you're pregnant.
Okay, let's get back to the motivation that led you into starting the Bernard Educational Consults Limited. Have you had an experience? Is this something that touches close to home? What's the motivation? Why do you have this much care for children or people who have special needs?
I would say it came to me by, I don't know, I wouldn't want to say is that it came to me by accident, really. I was somewhere, I was in uni, right, and I needed to do part-time job, and where I was, it was easier if you register through an agency to get a job. So I registered. I wanted to be a teaching assistant, and on the form, while they were giving you orientations, they asked you if you want to be a special need teaching assistant or a mainstream, a regular teaching assistant. Back then, I didn't know what special need was. Typical Nigerian, typical Niger girl, right? So I'm like, special need, what are they talking about? Maybe, we're always thinking of the physical disabilities. I'm like, is it blind or... I just ticked no, So I told them I don't want to go to special needs school. I want the regular ones where I can speak to them and, But when I resumed work, the first day, I remember when the agency lady called me, sending me to the school I was supposed to go. And she told me it's a mainstream school. I was going to be in a regular classroom. Guess what? I got there. It was a special needs school. That day I was seeing kids. To me, this is crazy. What's going on here? I barely went through that day. In fact, they were scratching me. At some point, I'll go to the restroom to cry a bit, come back out. I needed to go through that day. So I finished, came out. Immediately, I called the agency. I told you I needed to go to special needs school. Mainstream school. Why did you send me to a special needs school? Now I've been scratched and spat at. She said, oh, I'm so sorry. Was that where we took? Oh, we're so sorry. Don't worry. Tomorrow is not going to be the same. I said, okay, guess what? Tomorrow was another special needs school. And this time around, it was for teenagers, a college. And this was me, very skinny girl. I got in there. It was worse than the first day. I cried. On my way out, I called my dad. Daddy, these people sent me to a special needs school again. He said, this is unlike them. They don't do things like this. I was quite angry. But I managed to call the agency or gave them a blast. The next day they called me and said, no, I'm not ready to work. day after they called, I'm not ready to work. The next day, they begged and begged. That was Monday again, and said, please, Brenda, we are so sorry. We promise you it's going to be what you want. Guess what? It was still a special needs school. But that day, I went to the restroom. I sat down, and then I started thinking, what if there's something in here for me? Then I remembered that I used to have a cousin back then. You know, he's late now. As at when I was going through that, he had already passed. You know, I remember that, oh, maybe if anybody knew of this, we could have been able to help this boy. Maybe he wouldn't have died. Because after my grandma passed, the boy went through depression. It was very, very obvious that, you know, from what I've learned now, I could tell that all that time he was going through that was depression. He would go to grandma's room, check her bed, she's not there, he would cry, and then not long after that, he became very ill, and then he passed. So that now made me think, you know, I just told my dad, Daddy, you know what? I think I want to study this thing. I want to know more about this. Are you sure? I now reminded him of my cousin. Then he also started thinking, oh, I think there are a few persons he knows with this as well. You know, so that's just made me, and I knew back here, there were not very many schools. Very many people knew about this. So I said, you know what? Let me go through the course and see how I can help.
Okay, let's get to your institution.
Yes.
What are the services you offer there?
Okay, so we do speech therapy, occupational therapy, educational bridging the gap. By that we mean when you bring your child there, your child is not just learning to behave. We do behavioral therapy. So when your child comes there, it's not just learning to behave well, it's not just learning to talk. The child is not missing out on school activities because we do all of that. The child is learning to read, learning to write, you know, and after we've gone through that, once the child gets to a level, I get to school where we transition the child back to regular school.
It's the story you just told me about how you got into this. It's I don't know if I'll call it a motivation to, you know, looking between the line. You were initially forced, and now you're making a career out of it.
I was scared.
It's like a proper career path for you,
Yes,
and
yes.
you're really making it good too. Because you're one who is already doing sensitization here today, and it seems as though there are not many of these schools around town.
There are not very many. We have a few schools that do inclusive, you know, that have the special needs attached to their private schools.
But
yes.
this is exclusively
This is
special needs.
Yes, this is I don't call it a school, I call it a therapy center because the place is not so big.
When you mention therapy center, people will connect to you.
A lot of persons think that, yes, once I say therapy, they think, oh, maybe it's a psychiatric home or something.
Not that.
No, it's just a therapy center
for special needs
children and adults.
Where are you located?
Special needs. I'm on Bay Bridge Road from Imbiama Yenegua. The place is called Amasoma Close.
Amasoma Close.
Yes. Funny enough, the Amasoma Close name of it is not very, very popular. Once you come in from Imbiama Yenegua, you walk in or drive in, you see a 2-story building. Just beside the building is a close in there.
Okay, you leave a number that people could contact you on. Should they have children with special needs or questions that they'd like to ask you? Maybe you could now, you don't do assessments, but you probably will refer them to where they'd get the best assessment.
Okay, so what we do is, right, I do assessment. What I said is not diagnosis.
Diagnosis, right?
Yes, I leave that for the doctors.
You could just do assessment and tell them you need diagnosis.
Yes.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, there are some parents that come to me after the assessments. You know, a lot of them that have done their homeworks. After I assess them, they know where their child belongs to, and they go, you know what, Brenda, let's just start. We've been to the doctors. The doctor said we should come here, so let's just start. You know, so what was the question again, please?
You'd have to leave a number that they could reach out.
My number is 081-6251-9913. Let me take that again. Plus 234 81-6251-9913. You can find me on Facebook, Brenda Nagberi. You can also find us on Facebook, Bremon Educational Consults. You can find us on Instagram at Bremon Educational Consult or Bremon Edu, TikTok Bremon Edu, TikTok Brenda Nagberi. On Instagram as well, you can find me Brenda Nagberi. Send me a message, DM, whatever, and I'll reach out to you.
Absolutely. Now, well, beyond her work in inclusive education, our guest, Barrister Brenda, is also a strong advocate for the preservation of the Izon language, encouraging families to embrace and promote their mother tongue as an important part of Biafra's cultural heritage. That is something that is fast diminution, if that's the right way to put it. But then it's something that there are a lot of parents who are rather having their children speak English. They'd rather for them to sound
Posh, very British.
very
Know what I mean?
British, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In lieu of really having them speak their mother tongue. And I said something very recently. I posted something on the socials that if you cannot speak your mother tongue, you're contributing to its extinction.
Yes.
I'd like you to talk to us about your passion for having people speak these own language. Clearly, I can speak Ijaw, but then we've been speaking English all through. Maybe that's because I can't. If perhaps I could speak Ijaw, we do it in Ijaw language. But let's talk about your passion, why you think it's absolutely necessary that we revert back, and how you think we can even achieve it to have parents make their children. There are people who are already grown, they are adults, yet they don't see the need,
Yeah.
the zeal to want to speak his own language. Is it a function of colonial mentality, would you say?
It's part of it.
It's part of it.
Because sometimes, I remember when I came down here newly to Bayelsa State, I got married and my husband brought me down, and, one of the first things or the first social groups you go to is church, and when I got there, a lot of persons didn't think, because then I had a very strong accent, but underneath the accent was very, very strong Ijaw girl.
Sorry, a very strong Ijaw accent.
No, very strong British
accent,
yes.
right.
So a lot of persons thought this girl doesn't know jack about Ijaw. So
Right.
when I opened my mouth to speak Ijaw, and they were like, "What a juice! Did that just come out of you?"
No, I'm quite, I don't know if I should say confused, but I don't know how you are able to do that switching.
That's my parents, my dad and mom.
One can't even tell you speak Ijaw. Do you speak Ijaw like very fluently?
Should I start speaking? Ene bizon to ado enaremo yakumpna fa Brenda na gberike na remene sama yorotbo isama well ene yima barrier so abar kwim do paim.
Okay, I didn't get any of this.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it. You need to go learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been here for a while, so I think people should learn it just truly. But yeah, people who they are rather reluctant to learning
and that's
the language.
painful. It's really painful. Yes, because see, your language is your identity. That's where you're from. You can't say you're Ijaw or Yoruba or Igbo and you know nothing about it. You should be ashamed. You should cover your face. Now it's even easy because you can learn a word or two using the internet. So it makes things easy. I've seen people, I've come across friends, when I speak Ijaw, they go, Brenda, you have come again. See, I don't care. I speak Ijaw. When I'm going to pick my kids in school, I'm speaking Ijaw to my kids.
But this is the thing now. Children would often struggle with learning two languages while they're
Children
growing
don't
up.
struggle. No, that's a myth. Children can learn 6-7 languages if you give it to them. It's adults that find it difficult to learn. For children, their brains are like sponges. So it's easier when the child is little.
And what you're saying now is fact.
Yes, facts. You can go do a research and it's
fact check it.
easier. Yes, that's why when one of my nannies, she speaks Akwa Ibom. So whenever I go to work, I tell her, because I was trying to reduce screen time for my children. So I tell her, you can speak Akwa Ibom, Calabar to my children. I'd rather you speak your local language than broken English. My broken English is very poor. Now, I've started learning it. I'm getting better at it. Yes, it's very... So instead of speaking broken English, I'd rather speak Ijaw. Yes, because broken English is benpei, as they say.
It's too broken.
Yes, it's too broken. Broken, shattered.
Well, is it any wonder, given that we have just typically you want to speak English and that's how you communicate, and then we have just too many indigenous languages. Parents would want to struggle. I was going to say, to bring their children to learn English and to bring their children to learn Ijaw, and they're also struggling with learning Pidgin. It feels as though they should just make the child to be able to communicate with others out there, especially in school. Especially, yet again, for the child not to sound like they are. I'm looking for a word, local. Local, not in the sense of you come from a local place, but then they are local. They are untamed. I don't know if the untamed works there, but yeah. I had mentioned that it feels as though it's a function of colonial mentality. How do we rid ourselves of these if it truly is a function of colonial mentality?
It's to keep encouraging ourselves. Really, we can't give up.
If we do encouragement, is it enough to a
Keep
parent who is
speaking it.
indoctrinated, a
people,
parent who
a lot
thinks that my child should speak like who thinks the Western or English is better?
See, let me tell you my story. I wasn't born and brought up in Ijoland. Yes, all of us were born and brought up outside.
One would say that much is evident.
You know, but then I grew up in Lagos. My early life was in Lagos. And do you know I don't speak any Yoruba? Oh, God bless my dad, Kenarebo. Once you hear daddy's car outside blaring, you start speaking Ijo in the house. Oh my goodness, we'll start speaking it, whether it's correct or not. Because my dad will come into the house and tell my mom, once his children are inside, I don't want to hear any English in this house. Ebeke na kama. That's what he would tell my mom. And so my mom will start speaking Ijo to us, and we'll speak and speak. And if he sees our Ijo is getting really, really bad, he sends us to our grandma in Warri, or to our grandparents, my mom's parents in Ikorodu, where all they speak. In fact, my grandma, my dad's mom, speak no atom of English. So you have no choice than to speak the Ijo. Sometimes she will have to call my parents. Look, your child is saying, now over the phone. The child wants something, but because she does not understand, she will call my mom. My mom will now tell her what the child wants in Ijo, then she will speak Ijo. This is how you say it. So when we go for competitions, when we were little, in Lagos back then, we were always stopping it. It got to a point the people felt like, why is it that it's always these Ken's children that are winning the awards? Because it was very serious for us. Daddy will come on weekends. Daddy's telling us stories in Ijo, Adotimi Igberibo. Yes. You talk about the tortoise, the uri, and the rest. Pardon?
Your competitions, right?
Yes. In those days, I don't know if there's any here. Maybe we can start by that to encourage the children to speak. Now, they might not sound as Ijo as we want, because even now, when I get to the village and I speak, my Ijo that everybody loves, the people there tend to see it as, refined Ijo. Like my younger sister will say, that they speak, not me, I'm better than them. They speak the revised version of Ijo. That's her own word.
Okay.
But at least it's better than nothing.
Let me ask, like one who is not knowledgeable enough, a typical parent.
Yes.
What's the harm in having them speak English? I mean, that's what the whole world speak. These guys have, they have successfully done it in a way that even in Russia, the people in Russia, they speak English too.
Yeah.
So what's the harm? Let's speak English, but like the Ijo people too.
If you keep speaking the English, you're going to lose your language. Imagine you coming back in 50 years' time and there's no Ijo language, and you are an Ijo man.
You can't even tell someone that actually I'm Ijo?
Yes, and they'll be like, Ijo, what's Ijo? What tribe is
Ijo?
that? God forbid that happens.
And the language is a pretty critical element of the culture.
The culture. So we should encourage our children. My kids are still speaking the revised version. In fact, they haven't even gotten to the revised standard version yet. But they are trying. I remember my husband who couldn't speak Ijo before. Now he's beginning to speak. His dialect is Cabo dialect, right? Which is Patani. But because I speak the main dialect, because I'm from Bomandi local government in Delta State, so I speak the main. The one you people down here call Tamo, right? The Keremo axis, they speak like my dialect.
I really don't know the distinctions,
Yeah,
but I'm pretty much learning, the main and the Cabo dialect
yes,
of the Ijo.
there's a big difference. Like my son's name is Onyite Nado. That's Cabo. If he's to come to my side, it will be Tamara Tainane or Tamara Tainade. But because they are from Cabo, it's Tainado. Somebody was it you that was asking me? Of my son's name.
Okay,
Tainado.
The
Yes.
other,
Yes.
Well, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Barrister Brenda. I'm tempted to make an attempt, but I don't want to offend you.
Try. I would like to hear you say that. Try.
Oyakame Benafa.
Good try, yeah.
Good try. Oh my goodness,
Benafa.
I offended her already. Please say it.
Oyakame Benafa.
Oyakame Benafa.
Yes, Oyakame Benafa.
That should stick. Thank you so much.
If you can't pronounce it, I get really angry. So stick to the Brenda. I'll take that.
I've been doing Brenda all day.
Yes.
But Brenda is not exactly Jordan, so I try.
No, it's not. It's English to make
It's
it
English,
easier,
so I
yes.
try as much as possible to do native names.
Yes,
my
I
work
prefer-
also, so I learn more of it.
You try
It's
though,
hard to.
yes.
Maybe it's because I've also been trying to do it
that's
all
good.
my career, maybe. Well, it's a good thing that you joined us today on Chat with Naija Live Television. Before we let you go, would have you do a message to Bielson's parents on the special needs children that they might have and not know it, and also on the preservation of our culture.
Okay, on the special needs, I want all of us to look at it as building a house, because we're talking about the parents, the role of the family, school, government, and community, right? Look at it as you're building a house. The family is the foundation, all right? The school is the building blocks, all right? The government makes the policies, they bring the resources, the community creates the roof. So imagine if we take out any of this group, you see that the house is going to be shaking. The house is not, before you know, the foundation will collapse. All right, so I will encourage everyone, the government, parents, schools, all hands to be on deck to help these children. And if you're a parent out there and you have a child with special need, please do not hide that child. Come out, seek help. Go to FMC. We have very good doctors there who can help you, you know, diagnose your child. All right, and they can refer you to my center and to the other places that are available. All right, don't keep your child. Encourage your child to learn, because if you keep your child, you're delaying it, right? I know that we believe in God, faith works, yes, but if you're keeping your child at home, that's you not putting your faith to practice. So I will encourage you to seek help. That's the first healing for your child, okay? And for the Ijaw language, I would encourage, please try and speak the Ijaw to keep the Ijaw, all right? So that tomorrow, one person somewhere is not going to come and ask us, you claim to be Ijaw, where is your language? Do you know how to speak it? Are you not the only one speaking your language? Please, let's try and speak it, okay? It might not be very good, but try. Practice makes perfect,
Yes.
okay? Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you for coming in today. Barrister Oyakeme Benafa, Brenda
Good
Nagberry,
job.
the founder and chief executive officer of Brennan Educational Consult Limited. My name is Henry Pamwifla. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.
Severe consequences, including excessive flash floods and river flooding, causing untold hardship for residents. However, under the leadership of His Excellency, Senator Doye Duri, the Prosperity Government has taken proactive measures to mitigate these effects. The establishment of the Directorate of Floods and Erosion Control, along with the strengthening of other related agencies such as the Bayelsa State Emergency Management Agency, demonstrates a commitment to reducing the impact of floods. To further enhance resilience, major blocked canals, river outlets, and drainage systems are being cleared, and higher grounds have been identified in all 8 local government areas to provide safe havens during floods. While the government is dedicated to ensuring the well-being of Bayelsans, residents also have a crucial role to play by cooperating with government agencies, staying alert to flood warnings, maintaining a clean environment, clearing blocked drainages, and reporting challenges to relevant authorities for prompt action. Through collective efforts, we can bolster our resilience and effectively combat the challenges posed by climate change. Stay safe. Courtesy, Office of the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment, Honorable A.B. Ben Olulu.
Every ripple starts with a single drop. In Bayelsa, that drop is the Education Development Trust Fund Board EDTF. From the moment a child sits down to a nutritious meal to the day a scientist steps into a brand new laboratory, EDTF is there, turning challenges into opportunities. 5,000 meals served daily in our model boarding secondary schools. Biological sciences laboratory equipment delivered to Niger Delta University. 1,000 teachers and school leaders trained with the British Council. Special education teachers graduating from Ignatius Ajuru University under EDTF. Scholarship research grants fueling innovation in our state-owned tertiary institutions. TVET, science labs, water facilities, culinary kitchens, and clinical labs springing up across Bayelsa. Vocational scaffolding trainings and a computer-based testing center at UAT Tororua. These are not just projects, they are ripples that spread across classrooms, communities, and the entire state. But a ripple grows stronger when more hands join the water. So whether you're an organization, or a corporate partner, or an individual who believes in education, you can be part of this ripple. Support EDTF and help us expand Ripple. Donate, partner, or volunteer today. Together, let's transform our educational landscape. EDTF, building futures and putting smiles on faces. Every ripple starts with a single drop.
Thank you plenty for joining us on Chat with Naija Live Television. My name is Henry Ahamwiflo. I have Israel with me. And today we're discussing something important for us as a society. We're discussing peace in Bayelsa State. We're joined by the leader of an organization that seeks to entrench this, that seeks to midwife ways at which we can have sustainable peace in Bayelsa State. Now, not just peace, but sustainable peace in Bayelsa State with a focus on the Bayelsa State peace architecture. We're joined on this edition by Dr. Priye and Nabaraton. It's good to have you join us, please. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a long time that you have been hiding. Thank God that I finally.
Okay, that's
but once
clearly.
again, thank you, Bayelsans, for this opportunity. I'm very grateful. I hope we have a good save on this journey.
Absolutely. Bayelsa State Peace Architecture. You want to scale this for us? What's your mandate like? Is it you're a new organization? Have you been existing for a while? Would you want to talk to us about that, please?
Well, the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture is a coalition of interested persons that are interested in peace building in Bayelsa. Before now, we have different approaches towards peace building. That the police will do their own, civil society organizations will do their own, individuals that are interested in peace will intervene. And this project brings on board every interested persons using the community leaders, using the local government leaders to the states. And the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture is made up from all these persons, this coalition of persons coming together. We have the NDLA, civil society group, the police, the military when intervention arises, and every youth organization, everybody that is interested in peace building. So I think that is key in one of our achievements, that we have been able to put this persons. So when we are talking about SPA, otherwise called the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture, it's not hidden, it is not far-fetched, it is interested persons that have been involved in peace building. And we thank God for what the European Union did. Before now, we were operating on our own. It was put together by the European Union in 2023. And the project was meant to cover rivers and also Bayelsa and Delta. The reason for it was because conflict in this Niger Delta, if it affects Delta, it also affects Bayelsa. If it affects Bayelsa, it also affects the rivers. So to look at an holistic form to see how we can solve the issues around conflict. So the key players that have been involved over time, we decided to come together to get these lessons from the state and move towards the Niger Delta region. So that is where we are, that we have the state peace architecture.
Okay, you have the police, you have the NDLEA, and
all other
security agencies
and non-security actors
as part of your organization.
Even traditional rulers.
So
even state government.
So what is it like in your meeting? What is it? What do you do particularly at SPA?
Okay, well, the state peace architecture is interested in non-kinetic approach towards peace building. So we do mediation, we do prevention, we do dialogue, we do community engagement. And these tenets are what makes up the principles guiding the state peace architecture. Over the years, you see that as little as a conflict between husband and wife, if you don't nib it on the board, you will be surprised about how that conflict will escalate. Maybe a husband kills a wife. You are looking at it that is marital conflict, but it is not. The next person will say, this one is from my community. You kill my community woman. So before you know, community fight and community fight. Before you know, the soldiers will be called to go and quell the situation. Before you know, National Defense Council will sit on that little as husband and wife fight. So we are looking at best ways of preventing such conflict. As little as youth president conflict, that two persons are fighting to be youth president in that little community. If you don't nib it on the board, you will see it escalate to cult group fighting. As little as that drug is being sold in the community that triggers conflict and all that. What do we do to curb such stress? So over the years, the SPA Bayelsa State has been able to champion this cause. So we have been able to look at the early drivers of conflict and also see how we can prevent them. So these are what the SPA has been doing. I receive calls, up to 10 calls every day. We have a tracking system, otherwise called the early warning and early response system, that is laid across all the local government. If there is any conflict, for instance, as I'm here, I can tell you the trend of conflict. Let me start from the Ogbembiri issue. From the Ogbembiri issue, we have the purported bandit issue in Polako, that they said bandits are taking over Polako, Bahrain axis, that people run and all that. Immediately those information came, we analyzed it and we resolved that it was false from our dashboard and all that. So I was the one that called the commissioner of police to send him message that, look, this is what is happening there, and he moved in immediately with his intelligence and all that. So there are a lot of things that the SPA do. We do them over time on the ground. We don't speak out. We don't do all that. But there is a need for us to also sensitize members of the public on embracing sustainable peace. No doubt, due to our activities over the years, you see that Bayelsa is being described as the most peaceful state. I can give you the indices from the National Bureau of Statistics. Now, National Bureau of Statistics cannot tell you that you are the most peaceful. they work with indices. First, the security of lives and property. What is the record? Can you compare it to Delta, that has pipeline surveillance issues that are going on, that has delimitation issues that are... I'm just giving you a clear example. That's Delta. Can you compare it to River State that has a governor and the other one, Yendeba crisis in River State? So if you look at this, I'm talking about the Naija Delta, just the Naija Delta. You're talking about the Ondo State crisis of conflict for resource mobilization. So if you look at all these indices, you see that Bayelsa is having the list of crime, kidnapping, you see drug, you see this, you see that, all the indices. When, as an individual, are you safe to come out in the night by 12 o'clock? If you ask me, it's yes.
Well, these things you've mentioned, that this is a function of SPA's relentless effort. So it's in fact what the governor. I'm asking a question. Actually, I'm not taking a stance. I'm asking if they are a function of SPA's relentless effort, or if they are rather because of the governor's disposition, you know, to matters of conflict and the way he typically would go in to resolve them, and some of the mechanisms he set in place. Is he the SPA? Does he have his input?
Well, the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture, like I said, is made up of even government officials. We don't operate alone. We have done the coalition to the point that Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Community Development, we have SAG's office, we have different strata cutting across all boards that are interested in the peace building process. So I cannot say that we are categorically sponsored by the state government. No, we are not. We are individuals that are interested in peace, driven by commitment and passion to change the narrative. Henry, I tell you clearly that rather than for us to continue complaining, we need to take our destiny in our hands. We need to take our peace destiny in our hands. And that is the effort that you are seeing today.
Let's go deeper. Yeah. All right. If we're talking about sustainable development,
sustainable peace.
Yeah. Are we currently on the precipice of trying to achieve that? Could we say so? What is the winning strategy of, for instance, the governor of Bayelsa State that's, sustaining peace? What is the strategy you think he's been implementing that's making for we to have peace?
Okay, well, first, I'm not a government spokesman, so that
just as an analysis. Because you're a stakeholder in the peace building.
That assignment, I will answer it, but I will compare it to that of River State, for instance. So you asked me.
No, I'm not talking about relatively peaceful now. I'm only saying I'm a state that is relatively. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what the governor is doing, that you think that it's the winning strategy for security. So maybe the next governor will also know that that's something I want to do.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing, we know that Bayelsa needs development, and the best way for you to tackle security and peace is by providing development. Any government that lacks that, you are already on the pathway of insecurity. I don't think that development that is happening in Bayelsa happens in states like Iraq, states like Afghanistan. I don't think, because it's presumably trouble zone. But immediately you carry cement and want to do something, your enemy will come and strike and scatter it. So if you are on the trajectory of building sustainable peace, you must think about development. And development comes with economic power. Without economic power, whatever you do is only a man that has fed himself that can think of resolving himself out from conflict. Conflict itself is from different strata, and if you don't look at the economic well-being of the people, it becomes a problem.
You mentioned development,
development, and economic and social status and disposition of the governor. You can see there are a lot of issues that ordinarily person will pick up and say, go knock them, go show them shege, go knock. sometimes
Okay.
we wonder on those
If
things.
we want to discuss security and insecurity, what are the things that are likely to cause insecurity in Bayelsa? Some would mention militancy, right? Others would mention bunkering.
let me mention those things for you.
Okay,
One,
militancy, bunkering.
no.
You mention now. Mention.
Bayelsa, we have grown beyond the issues about causes of conflicts. You know why? Conflict arises every day.
No, beyond conflict, insecurity.
Yeah, insecurity. You look at issues around resource mobilization and distribution.
Resource control.
Yes, resource control. Not the general resource, 13%. Among two brothers, there is resource control struggle.
Okay. Yeah.
You look at, that is where the issues about Tantita, security management, who does this, who does that.
That's
So,
where you mentioned the
yes,
Delta State crisis.
So you see, among two brothers, there is resource control struggle.
As it applies to Bayelsa.
Yes, I'm bringing it down so that we can apply it. Now again, the issues around environmental justice is a problem that I was ordinarily a farmer and I cannot go to my river, to my farmland to fish, to do this, to do that. You are depriving me of my, so I will respond. And if I respond, if you push me to the wall, you can't come and dictate the form in which I will come back. So I can come back with AK-47 to tell you. I can come back with dynamite to tell the river that I need to test it, since I know that you will pass. So if you tackle that issue about environmental justice and the realities of the environment, you have tackled a lot about it. Another driver of insecurity that we can look at clearly is issues around social vices. When we say social vices, as small as drugs, there are a lot of issues. Somebody can just take a little drug, tramadol, and you will see that reaction above board. And the result will be him carrying machete to stab somebody, him planning it. And if you look at this drug issue, you want to sponsor that lifestyle. Let's kidnap a judge. Let's kidnap. I'm telling you this so that you are seeing this when I'm telling. If I'm talking with facts and data. The drivers of this issue, you see them, the end point, being involved in crime. So if you curb the issues around social environment, the issues around social justice and equity, if you curb the issues around environmental justice, if you provide a base, a financial base, a revolving financial base, you will see that somebody that has something to do and something, all those trends. So by the time you do all that, you are rather looking at the drivers of insecurity. So for me, over time, I like using the subject, looking at the solution to solve the problem. So
from what you've mentioned now, you still did not add including militancy and not active militancy, but
era has passed.
Militancy era has passed,
Yes.
but we are not removing from the equation that there are people who many believe are active, in gun carrying.
No, gun carrying is not militancy.
And when I say gun carrying, we're not talking about
militancy.
the basic gun carrying, like
No.
the type you'd see they used to go for basic armed robbery. No, that's not the gun
That's
carrying.
not militancy.
We're talking about people who are heavily armed
That's
and who
not
are
militancy.
situated in communities, people who they believe that they are the ones who would largely sometimes determine the electoral outcome in their domains. I'm going somewhere with this.
Yeah.
Militancy is there. You mentioned drug abuse. Now, drug abuse is not something that we've eradicated. I mean, if you ask some persons, they might not tell you that they have seen any visible thing that the governor is doing. Maybe you tell us what your organization is doing in the aspect of drug abuse. And
I'll tell you.
also, you talked about resource allocation and distribution.
Yeah.
And I like to think that's around community crisis. That's what causes community crisis. And we've seen a number of them lately. Are there certain things that your organization or you have seen the government, they are doing around resolving, or before it even happens, before such allocation disputes happen, people settle it amicably? I mean...
Okay, clearly we as the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture, I make good to say we have intervened in 1,321 cases in a period of 30 months from the inception of this project. Now, some of our cases that we have handled, for instance, you said I should make references to it. Issues around the Barai Ayakiri issue is a community chieftaincy recognition issue that the king refused to recognize a particular community that had court judgment to be recognized as a community in Barai. And it got to a point where this community wanted to cause roadblock, to go and destroy, make protests to oil facilities and all that before we were informed about it. We intervened. We called both parties around and we discussed. And we informed them on the need to use dialogue as the tool. What is your problem? What is your challenge? And it turned out to be an ego thing. So eventually that was resolved and made it. But beyond that, there are a lot of challenges. As we speak now, we are tracking the Ogbemburi issue. We are tracking the Ogbemburi issue that has led to a chief to be in a questionable character that the state government has said, step aside, let's see, let's do investigation and all that. All those issues. We have issues in Otosega. We have chieftaincy issues, communal dispute, information. So one of the things that has aided all this is information sharing that we got from our early warning and early response mechanism. Like I said, it is spreading across all the communities. In every community, we have those that shares those information to us discreetly. We have a platform that you can report your rising trend of conflict that we can also handle. Now,
okay, there's a platform like that?
Yes.
On WhatsApp?
Yes. No, not on WhatsApp. It's a tracker. Bayelsa State Conflict Tracker. So if you have that challenge in your area that you notice, you report. We have trained over 500 persons.
Is that through a link? I'm just trying to get, so people who will watch this.
You can't join the link just like that. You must be trained. You know why? So that we can also regulate false information.
Okay.
That was why when the Polako incident happened, that they will tell you that look, this incident is happening but it's false. But however, we need to monitor it.
The platform is people who are your members. They are the ones on the platform.
Yes.
They are the ones who could share information to you.
Yes.
So your network cuts across
all these
local government areas.
Yes, it does.
Is it beyond Bayelsa State? You had mentioned that.
No. Now in Bayelsa, we have the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture is also working with PIN Foundation. PIN Foundation is interested in peace in the Niger Delta. Okay. So there are circumstances and issues that are beyond Bayelsa. But again, you need to monitor it closely, because whatever happens in Delta, before you go to confront that, before you know, you see everybody, those that are perpetrating crime moving to Bayelsa. You see them from Bayelsa moving to River. So the trackers help us to track all those issues. So over the years, we have been able to resolve a lot of community crises, a lot of chieftaincy tussle, a lot of village setting crises, resource mobilization, resource control crisis within the community, security rising to insecurity. Rather than for military to intervene, we intervene to solve a lot of problems. And we advocate for the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, ADRO mechanism. That has aided us to also solve a lot of problems. For the purpose of the media and all that, we can't come out to say this one, because most of them are still peace building process. In peace building, you cannot come and give out your decisions outside, because by the time you do that, you don't know where the trigger is coming from. It can be reignited and it causes more problem for you. So we have done this so far to this point, sir.
Okay.
From what I'm getting from you, I want to believe that you get people from the host communities and you train them.
Yeah.
Such that they can use that
the early warnings
platform. Yeah. Where do you source your way to motivate these people? Because they would need some kind of motivation, especially to track these things
Yeah.
as they happen, before they happen. From what you're saying, I'm getting it that you're a bit more proactive than, the standard now. How do you motivate your people? Where do you get your finance to motivate them?
Okay, like I said before now, I was also dragged into the system like every other person because I'm interested in peace building. We were sponsored by the European Union, anchored by a program, curbing criminality and crime in the Niger Delta. And Search for Common Ground as a team was able to bring all of us together. We have Search for Common Ground, we have the PIND, and we have SDN as stakeholders. So in these various communities that they deploy these persons, people that are interested in peace building, there are people naturally, this problem, I really want to solve them. How can we continue to...
So the European Union funds you
Yes, they funded, but where I'm going is that funding stopped in April 2026.
Okay.
Yes, this year, that funding has stopped. But before they left, just like the coming of the Holy Spirit and God has said, before I go, I leave my Holy Spirit with. So the Holy Spirit with us has been those persons that are on ground that have been trained severally.
Okay.
So those persons have been, they are still working with us. You don't need funding again. They have already been trained on peace building. They have already been trained on mediation. They have already been trained on intervention. And again, we also have the traditional rulers, the youth president, CDCs, cutting across all these local governments. So if we have a conflict in a particular place, we can quickly call the persons involved and say, look, this is our challenge. This is the report we are getting from the grassroots. What we do is every conflict emanates from a community, true or false. You can map it out to a community. So if the community has their method to solve that problem, it's better that you encourage them before they take arm and other things to solve that problem. So what we do is we encourage community-based peace process.
Okay, well, Dr. Enebratompe, you clearly have stated that you have a funding challenge.
Yeah.
Given that the European Union has stopped funding you, are you making plans to get another active partner who's funding your organization? Because you mentioned that people who are trained would not need money, but I like to think that they would need money at some point. If they don't need money, more trainings you would do, because you need more hands on deck, right? They would typically need money. So are you making such plans? Have you approached the government of Bayelsa State? You're operating within Bayelsa State. The peace that you are engendering is something the government also enjoys. Beyond the government, the Niger Delta Development Commission, the peace you're engendering also, they enjoy it, right? So are you making plans to reach out to these organizations?
Okay, first, in April 2026 this year, the Bayelsa State SPA was adjourned as the best in Nigeria.
By who?
By the European Union and Search for Common Ground and other funders.
So they didn't leave on the grounds that, on the basis that they had grouses or issues.
No.
They left because they did not have funds to continue.
No. Not every project has a timeline.
Okay.
So
it was
we are not. Yes, it was on that basis. But we are also optimistic that they will also still come back.
So, but they think that the project is ended, but you are continuing with it.
No, they did not think the project has ended. The setting up of the project was for it to last. That the end point will be community leaders championing the peace process.
Okay.
So it wasn't built on a.
So it's no longer a project now.
Yes, it's not. It wasn't built on a European Union funded kind of that will stay for a long time. The independence has to continue. That the ownership need to be local, because we are talking about peace local. Then how can you fund something from foreign? Now let me quickly clear you on this, that before the European Union left, the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture has drafted a 21-page bill titled the Bayelsa State Community Peace Bill. That bill is ready And you will see that, you see the bill.
A bill for law for establishment
It's 21
of the
page.
Community Peace Commission.
And it was a coalition of senior peace stakeholders led by a former senator, Senator Nimi Baria Amange, that have put up this. If you go to the last page, you will see the names there. They are not mean names in peace building in Bayelsa.
Okay.
So this bill was presented to the deputy governor formally, that we want a situation whereby we build bridges for sustainable peace in Bayelsa. So if we want to build a sustainable peace process, we need to institutionalize the peace process in Bayelsa. And the Bayelsa State Community Peace Commission will step in from where the European Union, Search for Common Ground, and other funders have stopped. So they are stepping in. But before that time, we have also moved ahead to domicile this whole structure with the Ministry of Community Development. We have a running office in that ministry now. The ministry has furnished. The ministry has furnished the office. We have an office complex that we use to track this company. So the Bayelsa State buy-in is already there. That we have the Ministry of Community Development anchoring this peace process, because there is no development without peace. So we are looking forward to a point where the state government will call partners together, will also formally present this bill to the House to commence the bill process. But for now that has not been done, we are working with the Ministry of Community Development to anchor this entire process. So for us, we are on a good state. Recently, we also visited the local content, Nigeria Content Development Act, and they also reiterated their support for this, because they look at our trajectory, what we have been doing over time, and also the projection of peace in Niger Delta, using Bayelsa as a springboard. So they are also in support of it. We intend to also meet the NDDC, Tantita, and other organizations that we look at, that we can partner in terms of sustainable peace building. And if these persons come, it's our hope that Bayelsa will be better off for it.
One of the major challenges we have of insecurity would be that revolves around courtism and being drug. We've mentioned drug already. We've not tackled courtism. being one who chairs the Bayelsa State
Not chair, secretary.
You're the secretary of the organization, Bayelsa State Peace Architecture.
Yeah.
Okay. But being one who is one of the leaders of the Bayelsa State Peace Architecture, you also must know that courtism is a problem, and it seems as though we are not tackling it as we ought to tackle it. It feels as though it's a problem that festers on. Recently, we had stories of courtists who was arrested and he was handed over to the police, reprimanded by the Bayelsa State security volunteers, but handed over to the police. But there was this concern people have that even after he's been handed over to the police, you see him back into the society. Like, they cannot follow through on the prosecution and remand this person, even while there is good evidence that he's robbed many persons, and also he was caught with a gun. How are we going to navigate past this? How are we going to ensure? How is the organization, going to navigate around this to ensure that those who have been caught for breaking the law and causing unrest, they are behind bars? They are put behind bars.
Well, you know that is a security issue. My focus over time has been on peace building. So I'll use the peace as a.
You build peace without security.
No. I'll use the peace as a yardstick to now solve that problem. Now, we also visited the chief judge of Bayelsa State. I think 2 weeks ago, 1 week, last week, we visited the chief judge to say these are the indices we have been tracking. For instance, the issue that you raised, that people will commit crime and also be returned back to the streets. The basic thing is that Nigeria is rule governed. It's governed by a law. The law says you can't arrest person over and detain the person more than 24 hours, except otherwise there are certain exemption issues around arson, when the person has possession of firearms, all that. So the exemption are there. And if the person is committed towards bail, that court has granted that they should bail the person, nobody, you can't hold the person otherwise.
I get this impulse from what you're saying. I get this vibe that you are more into peace than the lack of justice that causes the lack of peace.
Okay. No.
Because sometimes, to a great extent, you can only have peace when the justice system is not totally broken. The example he just provided for you is that shows that no matter how you make peace here, without justice, the peace will just be it's not really anything. So what is your commitment to the justice end of the fact that peace will not happen without that process, without justice?
Okay, clearly, one, we need to also look at our laws. Most of our laws are not intended with the reality. So I was part of those that championed the ACJ law, domesticating the ACJ laws in Bayelsa. I was part of those that was involved in the VAB law. I was part of those that was involved in the gender response GRIT that led to GRIT, the child rights law. I was part of. So all these trends also support my background in peace building. Because if you see our laws, there is a need for us to look critically on our laws. They are not totally in tandem with the realities and the operation. You remember, it was only recently that the court granted that you can admit evidence through your gadgets, through your phones. Before now, it wasn't that. And the criminal justice system doesn't recognize all those things before now. But it was the ACJN law that brought all that opening doors. And so we as peace interested people that are interested in peace, it's not that we are also not looking at it. But going forward, the laws is the first thing. What do we do differently to strengthen our laws? We are also looking at educating members of the public, especially the traditional rulers, chiefs, and all that. Let's see how we can go back to our means of resolving conflict, because that is the only way out for insecurity. Before you know, if you recall, when somebody commits a crime of murder, they will tell the family to provide 3 persons, most preferably virgins, so that Henry maybe can marry one of that time and say, bring 3 virgins for us, for who you are. So if there is a problem, it is not your problem. The whole family go gather and say, oh boy, this is where they do. When you do until when it happen, not be my pikin go come carry you. So all that community processes of guiding individual, but today we are seeing that completely eroded. That if something happens, we will now arrest the person and take the person to the court and tell the judge to pronounce judgment. And so we need to go back to those traditional methods of solving our conflict. We have our own model of solving conflict. Like I always say, the prison was not built for us. The prison was not built for us. We have situations on those days that if you do something, they will sentence you to the bad bush. And whatever happens to you there, maybe lions are there, different. If you survive it, you survive it. And so our traditional values, our laws need to also be rigid for us to see the present. So I think for us, we also do campaigns towards that direction. I understand your point that there is no way that we can preach peace without looking at the factor of insecurity. We cannot preach peace without looking at the drivers of
because behind lack of peace, usually there are perpetrators. And if there's no persecution for perpetrators, the peace is useless. It's useless. So usually, peace bodies like this tend to want to cause peace with the absence of the actions and persecution for the perpetrators. So.
No, our own is different. I make bold to tell you, you know of the Yenizwe camp. I think they call it Afghanistan. Yenizwe, the place that the
Barak.
The Hausa men were staying.
Oh.
That place was a drug center, and we were part of those that provided credible intelligence for the state governments to move in to crank that place. And now I make bold to tell you, our investigation is also revealing that they have crossed to the other side.
To which other side, please?
Outside the river.
Okay, across the river now.
Across the river now. There is syndicates that are operating. I'm just telling you because of to tell you.
It's the media, so it's
what we do.
Let's talk about security some more and talk about policing even. There are currently efforts to bring about state policing across Nigeria, and the bill is currently ongoing. It's really supported by the executive too, but there are fears from people that the state police will make for governors to abuse the powers that they will be given or granted. You clearly don't favor this argument. Do you not fear that there will be abuse of power, that the governors might use this as a means
and
to
I think this will resonate
fight the opposition?
This will resonate to you. We have fact sharing money every month, and it goes to the coffers of the government, headed by the state government. Is there any time that we are afraid that because the governor spend the money, that fact should suspend the money? It is not. It is not. So our view over the time is that state police, of course, is a challenge towards peace building. By that I mean there are issues of personal interest that will arise. It's natural. But how well are we going to navigate towards it and sustain peace? There are roles that the state police need to play. You cannot tell police that is 74,774 local government. You will take 74,000 police to police 774 local government. So if you do the estimate, we have less than one police to a community. It will not work. You can do the estimate.
Well, the reason we have the shortage is because there is paucity of funds, and the federal government are rather committing funds to other areas. And the federal government shares these funds through FAC to the states. And the states also don't have enough funds. But also might have quite considerable amount of advantage, better choice of word, to compare with other states that don't quite receive a lot at the end of the month. But even with Bayelsa State, there is also a challenge of funds and where to place these funds. Do you see us in Bayelsa State recruiting more police officers?
No, already. I think, and I thank the vision of the governor. The Bayelsa State volunteer was already in place before now.
Bayelsa State volunteer, are they not even understaffed?
No, they are.
They're understaffed?
They are, clearly.
Severely understaffed?
Yes, they are. We also have the Bayelsa State vigilante
understaffed,
that has moved towards the Bayelsa State Community Safety Corps.
All?
Yes, they are.
So, incorporated?
So, if you look at this, I think they have over 1,000 staff that was employed that time that they were incorporated.
During the Bayelsa State Safety Corps?
Yes,
right.
Safety Corps employment. They have over 1,000. The governor was supposed to employ 3,000, cutting across all the communities. But I think that was delayed a little to see that the Bayelsa State, the state police team would be streamlined. But what I'm saying in essence is, all this effort, we are already on ground. And it is our belief that if the state police comes on stream, they will do employment, they will do engagement, they will do stakeholders mapping. And with all that, you will see people, our youth, joining the security force. It is clear, because ordinarily now, Dr. Priye, I'm not receiving salary for security. But am I not working? I'm not receiving
you're
salary.
Passionate about...
Yes. I'm not receiving salary, but I'm working.
The IG
yes.
answers to the president. because the president places the IG. He determines who's going to be IG.
Yeah.
And with state policing, the governor will have to determine who's going to be.
Not
the,
totally.
Not totally, though, but.
No, totally.
Not totally.
No, totally.
The way it is organized, to the best of my knowledge as I speak, is that the Police Service Commission will be the ones doing
Not
the
Police Service Commission. They are going
nomination.
to create Police Service Commission in the states.
Well,
they are going to create State Police Service Commission, not federal.
So there are still grey areas
to
in
do
this
the
paper.
nomination.
Yes.
While the assembly.
Governor will ratify finally. That's how. That is how. So the way that you have Police Service Commission in the federal, that is how you are going to have that in the states.
Okay. Because this was an argument.
No. That's how you are going to have that in the state. I have seen the proposals. I have studied it. Because when the president did that, he passed it to the National Assembly. You remember the House of Reps has ratified it, saying we are okay with it. Let's move it to the Senate. So it is at that stage. So I have studied that document. The way we have the federal police service, that is what we have in state. So it is still the governor.
So police effectively leaves the exclusive
No.
list.
It's still the governor. But I make bold to tell you, we have the Commissioner for Finance nominated by the governor. Is it that he's not doing his work as expected? He's still doing the job.
These examples you're giving are examples that they are doing the work for the development and for the regime. Now, the police is not supposed to serve the regime.
Okay.
It's serving the people.
Okay.
And when you are serving the people and you are picked by the regime, there's still this place where you have to serve the regime, and that's not the work of the police. Okay. And it makes the police very easy to let me give you an example. Now, the governor, for instance, is in APC. That's not an instance. In APC now, and because he controls the police at that time, he will control the police at that time. It's easy to say, withdraw police from the other party. Don't do this, don't do that, because the police answers to the state now. So using the police as a weapon for the regime is easier now, if we agree. How do we fight against that situation?
Okay,
in that
first, the state police law has not come. By that I mean it has not been domesticated. So if that law comes, these are the fears that we are going to.
That are real fears.
Yes, these are real fears that we are going to look at. It is not because a man you loses your semen that you will not give birth to a bouncing baby boy. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not because you will lose your semen that you will not give birth to a baby boy. You will lose it, and the child will also grow. As he's growing, you will see the different stages. You will see what to do. So for me, that, like I always say, let's look at the law first. Let the law come back to the states, and we'll see how we can domesticate it. We'll see how we can raise our voices towards it. And it is only that, and I know that the governor is a listening governor, that if we raise our voice, it's not for us to be on the fence. We are going to tell him clearly, look, these are things, especially in the process of recruiting, especially in the process of who leads the organization. Can that person track record be explored? Can we unveil these are the things that we so for me, I think when we get there, I think it will be better off for us.
Let's wrap up with you talking to us concerning the things you're doing to discourage these vices, the cultism and the drug abuse. What programs do you have in place?
Clearly, by January 2026 this year, between June, July last year to January, we decided to tour all universities across Bayelsa. Our message was simple: to look at the drivers of conflicts. There are a lot of security details, information that we have that this person say I was high. Yeah, they arrest you, say you were high. Okay, now that you are low, bring the person that did this. You say they'll start crying. Say I was on drugs. Hey, you're on drugs. Oh yeah. What do we do from here? You're on drugs. You went to stab this person, and now say your eye don't clear. So what do so beyond looking at those issues, we decided to take a campaign towards all tertiary institutions. And I make bold to tell you, and I'm reporting it back to you. When we went to NDU, it was part of our campaign on drugs that led to the arrest of a man in Amasuma that NDLA arrested the highest drug peddler in that community. So on record, you can Google and you will see the highest drug peddler in NDLA. Within that period of that campaign, we laid intelligence, we laid surveillance, and we were able to do that. So our message is simple. Beginning from the tertiary institution, before you bring a student to the school, please test him on drugs. Before he graduates, you test him on drugs. So that within the period of him being in the university, if maybe peer group pressure and all that, and you suspect, you take the child back to the testing point to test him before he can. So when you are graduating from school, you have a same graduates. We have a lot.
Since
we
you're
have
testing
things that are happening in our university and tertiary institution. You cannot document them. We have a lot. So let's begin from having a same graduates. And we took that campaign to various schools. NDU, I told you about the arrest. In Federal University of Tweke, they have decided to make a law that before you enter the university, you will be tested. And before you graduate from the school, you also be tested on drug. As you are defending your project, you are doing your final clear, you also get tested.
You say these are as what they confirmed to you, that they decide to have that law?
No, the Senate, they have sat on that. I'm not in that university, I don't know but the update is that they are to give a takeoff point that, okay, from this intake, we are going to, but we did that advocacy, and the school brought it into the vision. So we have visited schools like that to discourage drug peddling and drug. That is on drugs. On cultism, we see a situation whereby issues around cultism is a problem in Bayelsa. We see it getting rise every day. And we are thinking of going back to visit the laws on cultism. In Delta, for instance, in Edo, for instance, you see the issues about death. That if any person is found wanting in cultism, in kidnapping, you are sentenced to death.
Governor Kwebolo is trouble.
Yeah, Dr. Kwebolo has Governor Kwebolo has stated. So we think of how we can reject some of those our laws, so that we can have not severe punishment, but what do we do differently to discourage that? Is advocacy. So we are using the grassroots to top approach to see how we can. I make bold to tell you that a lot of issues we have discouraged those calls. That when somebody is arrested as a result of cultism, they will call the governor and say, my child, your child. So what about the other person's child that was killed? What about the other person? So even those in the positions in government, we have taken that campaign to the SA poll and other key players on anything that has to do with insecurity. Please, there are limitations to it, because today it can be your time, tomorrow it can be your next. So we have been doing those campaigns.
Right. We would like to thank you so much, Dr. Priye, for coming in and having this discuss with us today. Before we go, you've really spoken a lot. We had thought maybe we'll leave you, and so you have a breather a little. But would you want to give your message to Bayelsans, to youth, to people who could help engender the peace initiative and the peace campaign you're carrying across Bayelsa State?
Okay, first, following the EU and Search for Common Ground model, we identify that peace, anyhow you talk, my brother, now person where you don't believe food, then you talk peace. Not be when hungry, the cash person. Now you go come talk, say, make we day peaceful, it doesn't work that way. We must identify the drivers of poverty. Poverty is a basic problem. And for me, from the indices we are having, every day is even getting worse. So how do we solve this problem? The Bayelsa State Peace Architecture over time recommended that let's look at holistic means to solve this problem over time. And we have also done some community projects across Bayelsa in 16 communities. Some communities, cassava processing plant furnished, and things are going on like that. Some communities decided that they want to train their individuals, their youth, on skill acquisitions, different ways. So over 1.5 billion was expended for that purpose. But let me come back to the nitty-gritty that we should not look at peace in isolation. Peace is a responsibility of all of us. Not just saying it, we should act peace. Why we are acting peace, I make good to tell you again. We have budget for insecurity, is it not? Security votes, that's what it's called. We have budget for education. We have budget for development, community infrastructure. We have budget for health. Where is the peace budget? So
it's not part of security. It's not part of security.
No. It means that we are promoting these restings and neglecting the peace. So if a community is peaceful, if a community doesn't do violence, it means that you don't have a plan for them. What do you do to sustain peace in those communities? So you have to have a peace budget and peace fund. And that is why the Bayelsa State Community Peace Commission, we are advocating for it to be established. It will cater for all this and also to address these issues across board.
Thank you so much, Dr. Enebraton Priye. You've really you've spoken a lot of wisdom too. I like to add that. Thank you for coming in on Child Faith Naija Live TV. Dr.
Steps into a brand new laboratory. EDTF steps into a brand new laboratory. EDTF is there, turning challenges into opportunities. 5,000 meals served daily in our model boarding secondary schools. Biological sciences laboratory equipment delivered to Niger Delta University. 1,000 teachers and school leaders trained with the British Council. Special education teachers graduating from Ignatius Ajuru University under EDTF. Scholarship research grants fueling innovation in our state-owned tertiary institutions. TVET, science labs, water facilities, culinary kitchens, and clinical labs springing up across Bayelsa. Vocational scaffolding trainings and a computer-based testing center at UAT Tororua. These are not just projects, they are ripples that spread across classrooms, communities, and the entire state. But a ripple grows stronger when more hands join the water. So whether you're an organization, or a corporate partner, or an individual who believes in education, you can be part of this ripple. Support EDTF and help us expand Ripple. Donate, partner, or volunteer today. Together, let's transform our educational landscape. EDTF, building futures and putting smiles on faces.
One of the problems we have in Nigeria is that it's difficult to have solid metals for creative engineering. So what you basically have in this country are tubes for building of houses and erection of structures and all that. But when you come to real metals that you can carve to engine block, metal that you can carve to a shaft or gear, there is nowhere to get in this country. So a country that does not have a shop for metals to cut can never develop. If we had shops where you can go and buy all kinds of grades of metals, it would be easier for the young to get the metals and come to a place like us, and then we will carve it for them, cut, bend, and then do all that. This country will develop. But we don't have. We have to look at China or any of those countries to bring those things to us. That is the story of Nigeria.
Inclusion has always been the center of conversations in Nigeria, especially in Bayelsa State here, where many would argue that there are not so many Bayelsans, young Bayelsans, who are given positions of trust. We would probably say that they are left to play the IYC politics, you know. But when it comes to having them make decisions affecting the lives of the people, many say that they are relegated. And today on Chat with Naija Live TV, we turn our attention to this area that is seldom overlooked. My name is Henry Hamifula. I have joining me today on Chat with Naija Live Television a renowned youth leader in Bayelsa State. I'd like to introduce him as Comrade RTJ Moses. I'd like to also say he's the NDC youth leader. I mean, I'm not wrong with that, am I?
Yes.
It's good to have you in the studio this afternoon. Youth leadership and inclusive development in Bayelsa State. Let's have you as a youth leader talk to us about your assessment of youth inclusion and also, well, development generally in Bayelsa State. Again, yeah, it's good to have you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Henry. It's nice having you here too. Thanks for the hospitality. Well, today we are not here to discuss politics, though I'm the Director of Student Affairs of the major opposition party in Nigeria and in Bayelsa State. Well, we are here to discuss youth inclusion. And for me, I think Bayelsa State is on that trajectory of positive youth development. Because over the years, right from His Excellency Honorable Alamesia of blessed memory, when he started Bayelsa State as the first elected democratic governor of the state, he handed over to several others, from Goodluck to Silva, from Silva to Henry Siraki Dixon, from Henry Siraki Dixon. Now we have the leader. And you will agree with me that most of our leaders in Bayelsa State, I mean our elder statesmen in Bayelsa State, when they started as young people. Some of them were less than 30 years when they were members of the old River State House of Assembly. Some of them were less than 30 years when they were made Chief of Staff, Director of Domestic, and given elected positions in government and both in the State House of Assembly. You know, so we'll agree that there is really development. And even at today too, we still have a couple of persons who are influential in government, even if they are not being given critical offices. Unlike before, whereby we have young people becoming special advisors, young people becoming commissioners. Today we don't have those things again, but there is still time and there can still be development and there can still be commitment by the state government and other critical players to see that they project youth to occupy critical positions that can affect their society, that they can use to make impact in the society and their communities. Thank you. Okay, yeah, so to get you clearly, you don't believe that there is proper youth inclusion. I mean, that this present administration, for instance, really thinks of youths as people who they can engage for proper productivity. You don't quite believe that there is enough youth included in governance? Well, today I don't think, because if we dig deep into that, it may be termed as criticism. And I believe that we are preparing towards the forthcoming International Youth Day. So I think let us drive on that, so that it will not be seen as a partisan process. Thank you. Okay. So you're not looking to be critical, howbeit constructively critical of the current administration, even though you are of the opposition? Well, there is. I believe there is time for everything. And especially now that some of the programs that some of us who are critical stakeholders of the opposition party, where we carry out some activities or when we say some certain things, they tend to frame it as politically motivated. So I don't want us to drive on the wrong pedestrian for now. Maybe after now we can discuss constructive criticism and destructive criticism. But now let us just dwell on the International Youth Day. The International Youth Day, that is an event that you have championed
For several years now, if my memory serves me right, I know you've done some maybe 4 years. You were pretty much active during the administration of Henry Seriaka Dixon as governor of Bayelsa State, but one might not exactly agree that you are this active. I mean, I think somehow there is a drop in zeal, maybe. However, what are we expecting for the International Youth Day come this year? When is that again?
Well, he said something that I was pretty much active during the administration of His Excellency Senator Henry Seriaka Dixon, the former Pepe. I can agree with you, but I am still who I am, with or without position, because I know, and we all know, that I served His Excellency as the Special Assistant on Student Affairs. I equally served His Excellency Senator Doidiri too as a Special Assistant on Student Affairs. It is in the second tenure that I don't have a political appointment. And not having a political appointment does not mean that I cannot contribute my quota to societal development. Like as you said, or to youth development, like as you said, the Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award is one of my pet projects that I was able to sustain when I came into youth activities or youth activism fully in the year 2015. You know, the Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award has stood the test of time, and we are in the 10th edition of it. Though we started in 2016 during the second term administration of His Excellency Senator Henry Seriaka Dixon. We drive it to the first term administration of His Excellency Senator Doidiri, and including the second term. Now, what some persons expected is that now that I don't have a political appointment, or now that I'm not in government, they expect it not to function anymore. But it's even getting bigger and better. Like last year, we had the 9th edition of the Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award, and it was the biggest youth program on International Youth Day in Bayelsa State. I was not in government. And this year again is still going to be the biggest youth program in Bayelsa State on International Youth Day. So I mustn't have a political office for me to be effective. And that aside, I have been sustaining, I have been, contributing my own quota. It's just that on political activities, the state, how the state is, it's only on political activities of the leading political party that I don't participate in. But in every other activity that got to do with youth business, youth development, I participate in almost all of them, and I equally contribute my quota. Thank you.
Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award, again, you mentioned. When is that holding? When is it taking place?
Okay, the Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award, first, is an initiative that is geared towards rewarding excellence and creativity of young people and advocate of youth development. The event is held on every 12th of August. And of course, 12th of August is a day that is being set aside by the United Nations for the celebration of youth world over. And this year's edition, we are having it at Mato Crystal Hotel by 3 p.m. on 12th of August, Wednesday. And the theme is the different context, common aspiration. Different context, common aspiration. And that tends to tell us that though as young people, we have different things that we are doing, we have a way of expressing ourselves differently, we have a way of contributing our quota differently, but we have a common aspiration. And that common aspiration is for all of us to survive. That common aspiration is for all of us to be happy. That common aspiration is for all of us to contribute our quota to societal development, whether in engineering, whether in the field of science, whether in the field of education, whether in the field of sports entertainment, like what you are doing. You are equally contributing your quota to societal development, and that is the theme of this year's International Youth Day.
Okay, that ties into the theme for the award, also ties into the theme of the International Youth Day celebration.
Yes, what we do in Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award is that we key into the program and activities of the United Nations. Like the United Nations are the people that promulgated the International Youth Day and made it a worldwide celebration. So as a foundation, the Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award, for the past 10 years, we have been celebrating it on that 12th of August. It's International Youth Day, Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award, so it goes pari passu. It sounds finer, it sounds better celebrating it on that day, and we have never skipped that 12th of August.
Is this the awards, how are they done, nominated, voted for, or you just look at some persons and you recognize them?
Well, over the years, we have a board of trustees, we have a management that is responsible for the nomination with a flexible pattern, and the parameters are not rigid. We don't have any stipulated parameter that this is the parameter that you use in judging a nominee. The parameters are very, very flexible, and it cuts across all corners, both science, education, politics, etc. And normally the board of trustees and the management team, we have critically discussed it, if it should be by voting or it should be by nomination. And we agreed to make it by nomination because we came to find out that some persons, they don't really like that voting pattern. Whereby you bring 5 persons together, vote for this person as a best youth of the year, or vote for this person as most social youth of the year. It ridicules the process, and even in most cases, at the end of the day, even when the voting process is being completed, some persons are not satisfied because some persons, because they are popular, and they think that their popularity will fetch them the vote. Meanwhile, other unpopular persons will lobby for votes and get more votes, and at the end of the day, on that day of the event, if the unpopular person is being announced because it's called the highest vote, it will be as if the process...
What are the categories that you are awarding?
Okay, the categories we are awarding, we have categories for education, we have categories in entertainment, we have category in sports, we have category in entrepreneurship, we have category in youth development, and we have category in youth advocate.
And you're awarding youths across board, people who are within the ages of, is it 1 to 35 per the UN you mentioned, or 1 to 45 per IYC?
Well, we are awarding youths and not only youth. Like in our policy in the Bayelsa Youth Leadership Award, like our initiative is drive towards, or is geared towards rewarding excellence and creativity of young people and advocates of youth development. Okay. You quite agree with me that there are people who are above that youth age, above 29 years or above 35 years, who whenever they see youth activities or whenever they see youth matters, they always come in to see how they can give their own little support because of the belief that they have for youth. So when we identify such person that has been supporting youth activities, we equally recognize them too. Thank you.
Okay, it's really good to know. The International Youth Day and your very events that you have organized almost every other year. Since you really came into the youth development business proper, let's discuss a little about youth development in Bayelsa State. I know this is something you might not want to touch on because it takes you down the path that you'd rather not go into. The part of constructive criticism. But let's play around this a little. Youth development in Bayelsa State. How would you assess or rate it? So far.
Well, the concept youth development, the way we use it in Bayelsa is ambiguous.
Okay.
Everybody is into youth development. Everybody is into youth activism, including those who are not youth. They claim to be youth and they are given responsibilities that are meant for the youth.
Okay.
That is the problem. Okay. Those that are not youth being given responsibilities that are meant for the youth.
In your thinking, as about what you think is right, your perception, where do you draw the line for one who is called a youth? What's the age bracket for you?
Well, formerly, as a member of the Nigerian Youth Parliament.
You are still a member?
A former member of the Nigerian Youth Parliament, yes. I served, I think, 6 years ago. I served in the third session. No, I served 9 years ago, sorry. I served 9 years ago in the Nigerian Youth Parliament.
You served 9 years ago in the Nigerian Youth Parliament?
In the Nigerian Youth Parliament. That was the third session. And then we were practicing from 18